National Broadcasting Company. Now in its 7th decade of bringing you baseball's memories. Baseball's milestones. Baseball's majesty. And baseball's magical moments. NBC Sports proudly presents the Major League Baseball Game of the Week. The Game of the Week is brought to you by Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers. By Subaru, we built our reputation by building a better car. And by Crest Toothpaste, proud sponsor of U.S. Amateur Cycling.
And hi again, everyone. Welcome to the Game of the Week. Len Berman in New York. In a few minutes, most of you will see the Red Sox host the Yankees. It's Game 3 of a 4-game series. Charles Hudson will pitch for the Yankees. Tommy John has a stomach virus. It'll be Bruce Hurst going for Boston. These teams have split the first 2 games of the series. It was a big 5th inning for Boston last night in Game 2. With the score tied at 2, Marty Barrett ripped it off Steve Shields into left field. While Ricky Henderson chased it down, Wade Boggs came home with a tie-breaking run. 3-2 Red Sox. Still in the 5th, Todd Benzinger with the base hit to right. 2 more runs came home. The Red Sox batted around, scoring 5 times and taking a 7-2 lead. The tensest moment for Boston, 2 on in the 8th. Mike Palierillo takes Lee Smith deep. A homer would tie it, but Dwight Evans hauls it in, and the 7-4 Boston win was preserved. So starting this afternoon, the Red Sox lead the Yankees by 4.5 games, 4 in the loss column, while both Detroit and Milwaukee are 5 games behind. Last night in Cincinnati, baseball history was made, the 14th perfect game ever thrown. Tom Browning of the Reds retired all 27 Dodgers he faced. He struck out 7, including Kirk Gibson, who got tossed for arguing the call. Here's the only run of the game. In the 6th, Chris Sabo with the ground ball to third. Mickey Hatcher at first can't handle Jeff Hamilton's throw. Barry Larkin scores. Tim Belcher pitched a 3-hitter and lost. Here's the finale. Pinch hitter Tracy Woodson struck out by Browning. Sandy Koufax pitched the last National League 9-inning perfect game 23 years ago. A Reds pitcher had never thrown one. 16,000 fans went through the turnstiles in Cincinnati, but there was a 2.5-hour rain delay before the game began. Undoubtedly, many fans left, so they may have set another record at Riverfront. Most fans to leave a perfect game before it ended. We'll be right back.
This Olympic baseball close-up is brought to you by new Extra Strength Brute 33 antiperspirant and deodorant. Ty Griffin is considered by many the premier talent on this year's Olympic baseball team. What made him yearn to be an Olympian?
I think it's patriotism, more of that, and self-satisfaction, really. You know, something that I can just look back on later years of my life and say, well, I played with the Olympic team. You know, that's just a one-in-a-lifetime thing to do.
In last year's Pan American Games, Griffin's home run in the bottom of the 9th snapped Cuba's 37-game Pan Am winning streak.
Well, really, I didn't have any feeling, really. You know, I just wanted to keep the game alive and maybe just get on base any kind of way. I was looking fastball in, and he threw me a hanging curveball. And, you know, right off the bat, I just was hoping it was going to fall in for a base hit, maybe just hit the wall, and you know, it was blowing out. You know, the wind was blowing out pretty good that night, and just carried out of here. And at that moment right there, I was just pretty much numb all over.
Due to uncontrollable circumstances like these, we now introduce the Extra Strength antiperspirant for men, new Extra Strength Brute 33.
Into the land of heartburn comes the first liquid antacid without that liquid antacid taste. Finally, a really good tasting liquid that puts out the fire and relieves the pain of heartburn. New Tums Liquid. Strong medicine with a fresh, minty taste. Tums Liquid. It really works, and it really tastes good.
Before we go to Fenway, here are a couple of highlights from baseball this week, and we will start in Boston. It was quite a week for Mike Greenwell of the Red Sox. How would you rule this one if you were the official scorer? Larry Sheets for Baltimore out in left field, and it drops. It was ruled a triple for Greenwell. He also had a homer, double, and single in that game against the Orioles. He hit for the cycle. Our pitching star of the week, Orel Hershiser of the Dodgers. Is he on a tear? This was his third consecutive shutout when he beat Atlanta 1-0. He's 21-8, a scoreless streak of 31 innings. Oh, our record of the week. How would you like to set a Major League record by standing still? That's what Montreal's Randy Johnson did. The Expo pitcher is 6'10". He's the tallest player in Major League history, and he got the win. And that'll do it for now. Join us tomorrow for NFL Live. One of our guests will be Cleveland coach Marty Schottenheimer. What else can possibly go wrong for the Browns? That's tomorrow. Enjoy the game today, everybody.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? This hot. 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1 and watch. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
You know, when I played football, people said I was one tough player. But I not only outmuscled the other guy, I outsmarted him. I used my head. And a guy like me enjoys drinking Miller Lite, because life's a less filling beer that tastes great. But the best thing about Miller Lite is that it shows a tough guy like me can still use his head.
Well, how's that, Gary?
You hit it right on the head. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Fenway Park in Boston, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Game 3 of the 4-game series. Weather just about perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. Welcome to Fenway, where the Red Sox are sitting atop the world as well as the American League East.
They really are, and the Yankees got a tough break today. Tommy John was supposed to pitch. Charlie Hudson has to pitch in place of Tommy John. Tommy, because of a virus illness that he has, will not be the starter, and that makes it doubly tough because we don't have to talk about how big this game is. The Red Sox, by winning yesterday, really put some heat on the Yankees.
And if Tommy John's father is ready to tune out, knowing that his son is not going to pitch, before he tunes out, Tommy wants to make sure that his father has a wonderful 79th birthday. As far as the Red Sox, when they're at home, every day's a birthday. They've won 6 out of 8 here.
And they got a guy pitching today, Bruce Hurst, who's 12-1 in Fenway. He's a left-hander, and that makes it kind of news. But he doesn't do it with hard stuff. He changes speeds, and that, to me, will be interesting to watch because that wall doesn't intimidate him at all.
And you have to go back to people like Mickey McDermott and even back to Mel Parnell to talk about such a successful left-hander. We'll get into that in a little bit. For the Red Sox, they're doing the thing that Sparky Anderson and Lou Piniella both feared. They're having a very good homestand, taking advantage of it, winning 6 out of 8, and they've now opened up the standings a bit.
And everything that Joe Morgan is doing seems to be right. He uses the rookie last night to go in as a pinch hitter, and he draws the base on balls. Greenwell's hitting. Bensinger gets the base hit. So they are a hot ball club.
Well, and talking about a hot ball club, let's take a look at the starting lineup now, and we'll begin with the visiting New York Yankees, who are trying to get well. And for the Yankees, already having their plans jolted with Tommy John unable to play. Ricky Henderson will start it off in left field, and then Willie Randolph will be at second base. Hitting third at first base, Don Mattingly. In right field, Dave Winfield. Then you will have Jack Clark as the DH. In center field, Gary Ward. Behind the plate, Don Slaught. He had a 4-hit game the last time we saw him. And Luis Aguayo will be at third. And the shortstop batting ninth, Rafael Santana.
Take a look at the defense. You see Greenwell in left field, and I tell you, he has really learned to play that wall just great. Yastrzemski did it, Williams did it, Greenwell fits right into that ball. They hit that wall, he usually holds them to a single. Burks, great defensive center fielder, and what can we say about Evans? The infield, as you look at it, Boggs, Reed, Barrett, Benzinger, Rich Gedman is the starter instead of Cerrone because of Hudson.
Where's Ricky Henderson taking a strike to start off the day? Henderson, who is certainly the catalyst and has pretty good numbers to prove it, but not against Boston. He's hitting in the 220s, and he has driven in 3 runs against them. Only 5 hits. That popped away from Gedman, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Bruce Hurst is 17-5, 2-0 against the Yankees this year, 9-9 lifetime. He has 1 shutout, a 10-inning victory against Detroit when he really needed it. And he's unbeaten in the daytime here, 7-0. A fly ball to right field, but Evans is there.
You know, usually when a pitcher has a good record here, it's because he can come inside with good speed, but Hurst, he'll give you what the ball players call the dead fish. He changes speed so well.
For the Yankees, they are a 500 ball club this year in decisions against left-hand starters. And that does not make you sit up and take notice as if this team were indeed a contender. Willie Randolph, the second baseman, followed by Don Mattingly. That's a strike. Randolph has hit 300 for Lou Piniella. And for Piniella and the Yankees, of course, this becomes an extremely important game after losing last night. On the corner. So Bruce Hurst has gone right after the Yankees, and he has the count his way to Willie Randolph.
And Randolph not sure of the strike zone, at least Al Clark's strike zone, because he questioned him on that pitch, and it looked like a pretty good pitch.
0-2 to Willie. One and 2 the count of the Yankee second baseman. When you look at Bruce Hurst, his last start, he beat Baltimore 6-1, his 12th win here. In fact, the last Sox to win 13 at Fenway was Bob Stanley 10 years ago when he won 13 here. The last Sox left-hander to win more than 12 at Fenway was Mel Parnell. And he did that almost 40 years ago. In 1949, he won 16. Fouled away. That was a quick shot of Bob Stanley, one of the few former involvees in the 1978 games here at Boston. And when the Sox won last night, the theme in town was, "That will banish the ghosts of '78."
In fact, it was Stanley said to one of the writers, well, that'll take something away from you as far as writing about us. That's dead.
So after having Randolph 0-2, he noodled a bit, and he goes all the way. And it's a habit for Bruce to win here, 12-4 last year. In the last 3 years, 32-8. Boy, he's better than a 4-1 favorite, really. A drive to right. Here comes Evans to spear it. So 2 down in the first inning on drives to right field, and that'll bring up Don Mattingly.
You just wonder if Piniella might not have said something to his hitters, Vin, when you look at Henderson flying to right, Randolph flying to right, going the opposite field, saying, hey, he's going to be out there. Don't try to pull him because of the wall. Go with the pitch. But so far, Evans has been there for both outs.
And a strike to Don Mattingly. Mattingly, against the Red Sox this year, has 1 run batted in. He has a great average, 429, but 1 ribby won't get you very far. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mattingly hitting less than 280 against left-handers this year, so they've really done a number on him. And he has just 1 home run against lefties. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 out, first inning, no score. We're just starting.
That's the kind of pitch you just want to stay there and let it hit you. A slow curveball like that, but the good hitter, instinctively, he reacts, and Mattingly was able to get out of the way. That ball just squibbed out like he was picking up a piece of soap.
Joe Morgan and Lou Piniella, the managers, of course. And for the Sox,
Everyone knows how well they have played under Joe Morgan. Ground ball to the right side. Marty Barrett is on it. That's that. The Yankees go quietly in the first inning. At the end of half an inning, Yankees nothing. Here come the Sox.
My folks just left.
Thank you.
The new Subaru Justy gets you anywhere you want to go, less expensively than any other four-wheel drive car.
Mr. Fox, you're home.
Of course. What brings you out on a night like this, James?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
Thank you, everybody. That's it for today.
After a long day of eating hot lead, there's nothing better than drinking a cold Miller Lite. Light sure tastes great, and it really is less filling.
Shoot, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hey, Joe, give me another. That didn't fill me up at all.
If you think you might need some new hand tools, think about this. Sears Craftsman hand tools are built so tough, we guarantee them forever. And we mean forever.
I'd rather switch than itch. So I switched to Tegrin.
Tegrin medicated shampoo controls all the major causes of itching and flaking. So Tegrin is more than strong enough for everyday dandruff like yours.
Wouldn't you rather switch than itch? 4 times 6. 24. 4 times 7.
Get up and go. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The Boston Red Sox leading by 4.5 games over the Yankees, and here the way they stack up. Wade Boggs at third base and Marty Barrett at second. Dwight Evans in right field hitting third, and Mike Greenwell in the cleanup spot in left. Todd Benzinger at first base, holding down center field Ellis Burks. The DH today, Larry Parrish. The shortstop is Jody Reed, and the catcher, Rich Gedman. And trying to stop him will be the right-hander Charles Hudson.
I just like that quote that Wade Boggs, they put on a hit-and-run play, and he took the first pitch because he's not accustomed to swinging at the first pitch.
Yeah, that was a very damaging story, I felt. Just to fill you in there, Will McDonough had it in his column today about a game recently where the Red Sox lost to Cleveland 3-2. The pitch in there for a strike. With Kutcher, the runner, going in as a pinch runner, the story went that Joe Morgan said, okay, we're going to play hit and run on the first pitch. Boggs took the first pitch. Kutcher was thrown out, and the Red Sox lost to Cleveland 3-2. And after the game, when queried about the play, Boggs said, I'm unaccustomed to swinging at the first pitch.
Times have changed.
Yeah. Can you imagine saying to DeRocher, I'm sorry, I'm just not accustomed to swinging at the first pitch.
He would staple your lips, and you would be on your way to a taxidermist.
Well, whatever Joe's doing, he's doing it right. They've won 9 of their 10 home series. The only loss under Morgan at home in a series was to, of all people and to all clubs, Seattle. So Charles Hudson, his last start, and believe me, we thought it was going to be his last start, was August the 27th. Ball 4. In that last start against California, he lasted an inning and a third, gave up 10 hits and 9 runs. And now, with Tommy John out with a stomach virus, they are forced to use Charles Hudson in maybe one of the biggest games of the year.
It has to be put in that category, and what can you do? It just shows you the difference in the personnel of the two ball clubs. The Red Sox go with Hurst, who was almost unbeatable here, and Charlie Hudson has to be the blowout patch because of Tommy John's virus.
Way back in June, Hudson pitched well against the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. He went 7 innings and got a victory. Ball 1 to Marty Barrett. In a sense, this is the way it started last night. Al Leiter began by walking Boggs and falling behind 3-1 to Marty Barrett, and Leiter could not get out of the second inning. He was pitching with a bad back.
Barrett was able to pull the ball between the third baseman and the bag last night. Usually hits the ball from center field to the right field line.
And now Hudson is struggling after walking Boggs. He's behind 2 balls and no strikes. Marty Barrett has not done well against the Yankees. He has only 7 hits all year, hitting in the 220.
He hits into a lot of double plays, too, for a guy who really isn't a power hitter. He's hitting the 15 of them. 21 leads the club, and Wade Boggs is the man that leads it.
That is a surprise. 2 balls and no strikes to Marty Barrett. In there. You might notice Hudson a little bit of an unorthodox set position. When he brings his hands together, they will be up around the lettering of New York, and they'll be maybe 6 to 8 inches in front of his chest. He doesn't come to the belt. Why do you think some pitchers do that? I mean, it looks like the hitter has a little fraction of a second longer to see the ball out.
You mean where he is right there?
Right there.
Well, of course, it's a case of feeling comfortable, but most of the balks are called when guys come to the belt and make that movement or do not stop completely. So what he's doing, I'm sure, is to prevent the balk more than anything. But I don't think that fraction of a second that he's up there really makes that much of a difference.
It probably confuses the runner a little bit because you don't see the hands drop and you're not quite sure where he's stopping. Backhanded at third, and they get the force on to first, not in time. Luis Aguayo making a good play to get a force play to Randolph on a ball that might otherwise have gone down the line.
The ball wasn't hit that hard, and Aguayo was playing wide of the bag. He backhands the ball, and it was an amazing pivot by Randolph. And look where he gets. If that ball's hit hard at all, it's going to get through. Now watch Randolph. He about gets taken out here. He's going to jump straight up, but the ball was well on its way. Good pivot.
So Barrett aboard with 1 out. Nice play by Luis Aguayo, and the batter is Dewey Evans. Evans hitting a little over 270 against the Yankees.
He hit a ball last night against the wall that any other ballpark would have been a home run. It was a line drive, and when it hit, it really made some noise.
And then, for good measure, he caught a ball that in any other ballpark would have been a home run. The ball hit by Pagliarulo. Right.
In fact, Pags was saying he thought it was out, and he said that flag is blowing out. He said it had been the night before. He said it's been way up there, but it wasn't blowing out last night, and Evans was able to make the play.
Powell, who is from Medford, though the man from Medford came within an eyelash of tying up the game last night, fouled away. The reason he did it is straightaway right field at Fenway Park. Fenway is not known for being a graveyard except in center, but it is in straightaway right, because directly behind the right fielder, right in front of the Red Sox bullpen, it's 380 feet, and you don't have that in any other ballpark. Yeah, just to the right of that. So Powell sent Evans all the way to the wall.
He said it would have broke their hearts.
The hearts. 0-2, and a guy from Medford can say it right. No balls and 2 strikes to Dwight Evans. And he lines it to left. Henderson is there to flag it. 2 down.
Might add the defense is Henderson is in left. Ward is in center field. Winfield, of course, is in right field. Ward in center field because of Claudell Washington, a little sore shoulder, and the fact that Hurst is pitching. There you see Claudell.
Boy, what a week he had. Game-winning home runs in the 9th inning, in the 18th inning, and then stealing home here against Roger Clemens, but not in the lineup today.
That's where he kind of jammed that shoulder, was stealing home.
You look at all those RBIs, 110 for Mike, and you realize that new statistic they added to the game, which is perhaps the most meaningless ever brought up, the so-called game-winning RBI. Okay, if you look at Mike Greenwell's story this year, you see 20 game-winning RBIs, and that sounds so dramatic, doesn't it? Wow, 20 games he won. Do you realize that 10 of the 20 game-winning RBIs attributed to Mike Greenwell, 10 of the 20 came in the first inning?
You think that's impressive?
Oh, that's really impressive.
Wait till he goes to arbitration, he'll use that. I tell you, some of the statistics, though, they really are reaching.
Yeah, that one's a killer.
I got one on Boggs that the maniacal statistician, Chuck Wozleski, has come up with. I don't know how guys can do these kind of things.
No score in the first inning. Marty Barrett at first with 2 out. He's stolen 6 out of 9, but with a left-hand power hitter up there, he figures to stay. And Charles Hudson rushed into the breach to fill the spot of Tommy John. P.J. out with a stomach virus. 4-1.
The no ball, 2 strike count. Boggs was always the big man. Hit 390 in 85, 379 in 87. Greenwell, no balls and 2 strikes, is really, he's hitting 381. Of course, he's got 1 ball, 2 strikes now, but the 2 strikes don't seem to bother him.
1-2. The Red Sox came very high in doubles, very high in triples, but very low in home runs. In fact, this club might hit the least home runs of a Boston team since 1975. And that year, Freddie Lynn led the Red Sox and hit 22. Well, here's Mike Greenwell. He's leading the club with 21.
And they lead the American League in runs scored, so I don't know.
2-2. The Red Sox going head-to-head with the Yankees have won 5 of 8, and they've taken 3 of the 5 played here. Remember, next weekend, they're after each other again at Yankee Stadium. 2-2. High fly ball into left center. Gary Ward is there. And that's that. Another note about the Red Sox, they lead the league in left on base. And they lead Barrett.
This is a machine designed to keep you on time. And this is what makes it tick. People. Working together with clock-like precision. Each dedicated to keeping you on schedule. Time after time after time. American Airlines, the on-time machine.
Though they're disapproving.
Day after day, more people depend on Subaru wagons than any imported wagon in America. And with good reason. They're reliable and durable. In fact, if Subaru didn't make your life easier...
Honey, is dinner ready?
Who would?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
People ask me if I am still hungry. That flamenco dancer was excluded from the Olympic Games. Me? Hungry? More. Which means, of course, at least I can enjoy a great tasting Miller Lite.
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
Who flies overnight letters for just $8.75? Watch the birdie. Express Mail overnight service from your post office. Who drops by to pick up your overnight packages every day? You know us well. Express Mail overnight service. When we say overnight, we mean overnight.
Second inning, no score in the ballgame. The Yankees will have Dave Winfield, then the DH Jack Clark, and center fielder Gary Ward. Winfield 1 for 4 last night. He had a couple of RBIs and a double. And time. Gesturing out towards left field, and it's the third base umpire Ted Hendry who has spotted something. Let's see what it is.
sign, I think, out there.
Maybe that
Yankees go
sign.
home. Yeah, it could be distracting.
And how? It's one of the things I've heard, and there was nothing illegal intended. When you ask Bruce Hurst about how come left-handers can win here at Fenway Park with all the right-hand batters and also with the green monster in left field, Hurst has a pretty good quote as to why a left-hander can win here. A lot of people think it's his delivery, but you see, you don't want righties to pull the ball. And in the first inning, he had a couple of fly balls to right field.
But I'll tell you that center field doesn't hurt him because he comes from over the top. And when you come over the top, you really are looking into a sea of shirts. It's not too bad today because it's a little cool and you see a lot of red out there. But you get a lot of white shirts out there. And that sign that was up there that they made him pull it down, certainly distracting.
So Hurst now is ready to pitch to Winfield. And starts him with a fastball away. Hurst is a good size. He's 6'3". Of course, Winfield's 6'6". But talking about the height and coming over the top, he can throw just about out of the shirt sleeves in center field. Two of the game's better right fielders involved in this series with Dave Winfield and Dwight Evans. And they were born just a month apart, and they've had similar careers. In fact, if you match them up, they're pretty close. That's just right. 2-1 to count to Dave Winfield. There you can see Evans a month older, make it Winfield a month older. And then they match up in games. Surprisingly, not too far apart in home runs, RBIs, and assists. They're 1-2 as far as outfield assists amongst all the active players.
You talk about the ever-important game-winning RBI. What about matching them up in ever-important contract? See who wins.
Yeah. Dewey might bring that up.
He should. I'm telling you.
2-2 to count. There's Dave Winfield. And as a one-hopper at short, Jody Reed stays with it to get him. Interesting to look at the schedule involving these two teams between now and the end of the year. In the last 2 weeks, the Yankees will be at home against Baltimore and Boston. They'll be on the road at Baltimore and Detroit. Now, the Red Sox play 3 of their last 4 series on the road. They have to play in Toronto and in New York. Then they play at home against Toronto, and they finish on the road with Cleveland. So even though the Red Sox are out in front and enjoying a 4.5 game lead, they still have 3 of their last 4 series on the road. And as I'm sure you know, the Red Sox have had a lot of trouble on the road. 26 games above 500 at home, and a completely different team, 7 games under 500 on the road. In fact, in the American League East, you don't have a road team. In fact, the best road team in the American League East, the Yankees, and they're break even. That's all. 2-1. Ball 3.
You can really see Gedman sitting on that outside corner with these power hitters like Winfield, Jack Clark, and I'm sure he'll do the same thing with Ward. He's been trying to make the perfect pitch to start ahead, and he gets behind, but he's been able to come in 2-0.
And he walked him. So with 1 out, Jack Clark, who's been struggling with the bat, draws a walk, becomes the first Yankee base runner, and Gary Ward will be coming up. Clark, with leg problems, not much of a threat, stolen 2 out of 3. And talking about a possible base running threat, keep in mind that Bruce Hurst is one of the remarkable left-handers as far as throwing to first. In the last 5 years, he's picked off 49 runners. And he has 3 pickoffs this year. Little nubber back to Hurst. They get 1. Too late at first. The Hurst at 6'3" needed his height and turns it into a 1-6 force play.
Surprised that Ward jumped on that first pitch. To take a look, it's an off-speed pitch, that dead fish they talk about. Now you see Hurst get up, and that height really came in there, and Reed gets to throw off in pretty good shape, but just wasn't hit that hard, but he do get the lead man.
That'll bring up Don Slaught. Slaught with Aguayo on deck.
Last time we saw Don, he had a
day.
career game, huh?
Yes, he did.
4 hits. Gary Ward 0 for 1 in stolen bases, so he figures to be relatively quiet over there. On the inside corner, good pitch.
See the difference in pitching to Winfield and Clark and to Slot. 2 big guys. He did on that outside part of the plate. Here he comes inside. He tries to keep you honest because you have to pitch with the theory that you walk in the batter's box, you're a potential scoring run.
Another thing about Slot, if you throw out that one game last week when he had 4 hits, in his last 21 other games, he's hitting about 100. But he's had good fortune against Boston. This year, he doesn't have an at-bat against the Sox. Fly ball to right field. So again, Hurst has him going the other way, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got a leak here, somewhere in the wall. I just hope I can get to it before it gets too bad.
At times like this, now you can choose this. New Maximum Strength Pepto-Bismol. Now there's twice the medicine, twice the Pepto.
Ever feel like you're getting nickeled and dimed to death? Take my old gas station. If I use their credit card, $1 bought 96 cents worth of gas. For me, that 4 cents added up to about $50 a year. So now I come here, Phillips 66. I get high detergent, super clean, unleaded gasoline for the same low price. Cash or credit. I give them $1, they give me $1 worth of gas.
And I don't want anyone driving my XT while I'm away. You understand?
The new Subaru XT6 has a powerful 6-cylinder engine, computerized full-time 4-wheel drive, and a design which makes it hard to resist.
Somebody drove my car. Who was it?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
Honey, game's gonna start soon.
I think I'll give the lawn a quick cut.
Good luck.
When you're long on grass and short on time, you need a mower with a Briggs & Stratton engine.
Dad, the pregame show's on!
It'll start quickly and work hard till the job's done.
I hope he makes it.
Yes, there he is.
Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
The widely heralded Green Monster of Fenway Park. And as usual, a sellout crowd. It figures that they're going to break the attendance mark this year. The Red Sox drew 2,300,000 back in 1979, and if they average 24,000 for the last 9, they will do it, and that appears to be the lock of all time.
Oh, man, that is a cinch.
Todd Benzinger, followed by Ellis Burks, and then Larry Parrish. Benzinger hasn't had many at-bats against them, but he's hitting .400 against the Yankees. We alluded to the ghosts of '78. And just in case you're not a baseball historian or you just simply forgot about it, it wouldn't be right to just go by on horseback by saying the ghosts and then letting it go at that. Lou Piniella, of course, is all part of that '78 story. In the middle of July of '78, the Red Sox had a 10-game lead on the Brewers and a 14-game lead on the champion Yankees. On the 17th of July, Reggie Jackson was suspended. He wouldn't obey Billy Martin's orders. Ground ball to first. Mattingly will have to feed Hudson coming over, 1 away. Shortly after that episode with Reggie Jackson, Billy Martin made his now famous remarks about the New York right fielder and owner. One's a born liar, the other's convicted. Kabloom, he's gone. So Bob Lemon was hired on the 24th of July. By that time, the Yankees were 10.5 back of the Red Sox. On the 7th of September, the Sox suddenly had a 4-game lead, and the Yankees were red hot. When they left Boston, they were tied for first, and they went on to win it. The final day of the season, the Sox bounced back to tie the Yankees, and they had a 1-game playoff on October the 3rd of '78. It is the famous playoff marked by the home run by Bucky Dent against Mike Torres, but a lot of things happened. Piniella made a great play in right field. The final out was made by the great Carl Yastrzemski. Willie Randolph was injured in that game. The same Randolph playing second base today. He was replaced by Doyle, so the Yankees were short an infielder, and that meant that Lemon was prevented from hitting for Bucky Dent, if he thought about it, in the 7th inning. Hobson was the DH. Dwight Evans didn't start in that playoff game. Fred Lynn and Carlton Fisk are still active. Guidry, Rice, and Stanley are still with Boston. And with it, the ghosts of '78. One and two. They've had others, these two great teams and great organizations. In '49, the Red Sox swept 3 from the Yankees on the next to last weekend to dump the Yankees into second place. The Sox had a 1-game lead with 2 left at Yankee Stadium in '49. Check swinger, tough play for Aguayo, got him. 2 down.
It was almost like a perfect bunt for the base hit once it got by Hudson, but Aguayo really came charging in. I tell you, Ben, it's interesting to look at the lineups of those Red Sox and Yankees you're talking about. Here's the replay. Watch Aguayo. He reacts to you. Saw him kind of go to his right because of the pitch, and now he's really got to hustle. He makes a good play. He had to really regroup because he had already taken a step to his right.
You know, talking about those lineups, way back in 1949, there are 2 fellas who played in that clutch series at the end, and 2 of them are here today. Jerry Coleman, who played second base as the broadcaster. Dr. Bobby Brown, the league president, is here today. He was in that lineup.
Hey, you do the Yankee lineup, and I'll quickly do the Red Sox.
Well, Henrik, Coleman, Rizzuto, Brown, Bauer, DiMaggio, Woodling, and Barrett.
For the Red Sox, Billy Goodman, Bobby Dorr, Vern Stevens, Pesky, Johnny Pesky, who's here today, Ted Williams, Dom DiMaggio, El Zarilla, and Bertie Tebbetts.
1 ball and 1 strike. Big swing. 1 and 2 to count. So you have the ghosts not only of '78, but they are back to 1949. And of course, there was that great race in 1967.
They were able to get Parrish with breaking balls like the last one way outside. That's the ball he chased last night, and they're going to try to get him again today. He laid off that pitch. Once he starts to bat, he really starts from way back, and he can't stop it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out to Parrish. There he goes. So Hudson sets the Sox down in order, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Great news. The critics are giving Empty Nest high marks. That's our cast. Good actors, great judges.
Empty Nest, Saturday, October 8th.
Ember's $3.99 steak and eggs, 2 farm fresh eggs, 3 buttermilk pancakes, hash brown potatoes, and a USDA choice sirloin steak, only $3.99. Ember's, big taste, small check.
Comfort. Carrier Barefoot Comfort. Now, new Carrier technology delivers the lowest operating costs of any gas furnace and more barefoot comfort than ever before. Save now during our Barefoot Comfort sale. No payments or interest till spring. Limited time offers, so call soon.
Buy a Carrier Deluxe furnace or air conditioner with no interest or payments until April of '89. Call today for details.
We're not comfortable until you are.
What do you see when you look at a Gardner Brothers home? quality, credibility, the location you've been looking for, and the superior products of Suburban Air Conditioning, providing quality Janitrol air conditioning equipment, and the Nat Company's custom-crafted oak cabinets with numerous style selections. Just a few more great reasons why we're the #1 single-family home builder in the Twin Cities. Gardner Brothers Homes, building your future today.
Going, gone. Beer drinkers are knocking the doors down for the full tilt taste of Extra Gold Draft. They're treating every can, every bottle, every 12-pack, or case they can get their hands on like pure gold. Extra Gold. When a beer that packs this big a taste comes along, you gotta go for it.
The Cosby Show, beginning October 3rd on TV 11.
Third inning, no score in the ball game. Luis Aguayo, Rafael Santana, and Ricky Henderson against Bruce Hurst. Aguayo has already made his presence known. He made a good play on the ball hit by Marty Barrett in the first inning. You wonder where Mike Pagliarulo is. Mike hitting about 150 against left-handers, so he's sitting this one out. Sitting with Rick Rhoden. One and two to Aguayo.
You chased the two bad balls. And now you sit here and you say to yourself, if he gets that ball above the knees, it's just bad pitching. He's got to try to almost bounce one up there, or at least make it so bad to set up the next pitch. But you would think he'd go right after him on this pitch.
Check swing foul, and it's still 1 and 2.
Can you imagine? Now, he threw 3 balls that were real bad, and that's the best pitch that he had to hit. And he started to swing and just picked his bat. You see, it looked like Hurst was really going to snap one off.
For Aguayo, this is his first at-bat against Boston this year. Got him. Breaking ball inside corner at the knees. He thought it was way inside, and Al Clark didn't.
The only fastball he threw, and gets it inside. And Aguayo doesn't believe it. He doesn't think so.
For Hurst, he picks up his first strikeout. Luis Aguayo. And the batter now, Rafael Santana. Strike.
Santana's got the perfect answer for all questions asked by the media. When they ask him a question, he says, what can I say? I'm only human.
I thought you were going to say, no comprende.
No. You got to like this guy. I mean, the way they're around the cage and they ask him, what can I say? I'm only human.
Well, he's gone his last 12 games without an error.
And he's playing a bit hurt.
He's had a very sore right elbow. He might have surgery after the season. Ground ball to short. Jody Reed over to Benzinger. 2 down.
That ball's not going to shoot through on the infield, but in the outfield, you got to be a little careful. During infield practice, watching that ball skip off that grass, it was really alive.
You know, earlier we were talking about the fact the Red Sox are doing it, doubles and triples, walks, few strikeouts, but not with the home run. And in doing a little research on home runs, it's remarkable what has happened from last year to this year. For instance, there were 28 players in the big leagues last year who hit 30 or more home runs. 28, including 20 of them in the American League. This year, there are 2 players in the American League with 30 home runs, Canseco and McGriff. There were 4 last year in the major leagues who hit 40 or more. And maybe Canseco will be the only one this year. And then, what really comes as a shock, that in all the minor leagues in 1988, there was not one minor league player to hit 30 home runs. 2-0. Right. That'll give you an idea of a personal fall-off. Ricky Henderson, but it is everywhere, and it's in the minors. And that's hit down the right field line in the corner. And Henderson on his way for 2. Evans up with it, but Ricky is in there standing with the double. Hit number 1 in the game, a double to right with 2 out.
Once again, he just went with the pitch. You see, he didn't try to pull that ball, and Evans plays the ball perfectly. There's so many nooks and crannies out there, much like Ebbets Field in the old days, Vin, but he's played that right field so well, he just came right out to him, and it was not a triple, but an easy double for Henderson.
So the pattern go the other way. The lights have been turned on here at Fenway Park. Slightly overcast, but a lovely day, and they've turned the lights on. Willie Randolph lined out to right field. Well, 1-0. No score in the third in a game where all the pressure certainly would be on the Yankees. The Red Sox have won 7 out of 10. They're 4.5 games in front. The Yankees felt coming in here they had to at least win 3 out of 4. A split wouldn't be any good at all. We told you about the Red Sox schedule. And when you look at these teams involved, Baltimore will have a lot to do with them. The Yankees are home and on the road against Baltimore. Slow roller to third. Boggs is there to take care of him, and they leave Ricky Henderson at second base. No run to hit a man left. At the end of 2.5 innings, no score.
You know, when I pitch, I used to have trouble in the late innings, but I won't have any trouble pitching my favorite beer, Miller Lite. Light's less filling, and it's light's less, and it's...
Suddenly, a surprising development. The new Mitsubishi Mirage. You can tell your friends it has fuel-injected power. You can tell your colleagues it's priced less than Corolla or Civic. You can tell your family it has more room than both. But the best news about Mirage is no other sedan this practical ever had this much style. The 1989 Mirage. Mitsubishi, the obvious choice.
Okay, so you love your car. Whoa. You're not going inside yet. The tires, the 4 round things underneath. There you go. Now, see that Armor All protectant? Wipe some of that stuff on the tires and bumpers. Okay, now get in the car and do the dash and the seats. You can do this. This is not rocket science. Now, look at your car. Now go in the house and tell them how hard you worked. Go ahead. They don't know about Armor All. They'll buy it.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away, leaving your natural-looking color. 5 minutes. Here, look at me. Just for Men leaves your hair looking healthy and fuller, and it won't fade or wash out. Just for Men, in the men's hair care section.
And it's lightsless filling, and it's...
That's it for today, Mike. Raleigh, finish it up.
And it tastes great, too.
No matter how you pitch him, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Looking at Willie Randolph, who just might be thinking as he takes infield practice about that last time at bat, because he did exactly what Bruce Hurst wanted him to do. This pitch is on the outside part of the plate, and you try to pull it, you're going to hit it off the end of the bat like he did. Go in the opposite field, you might drive it, but that's the thing that you'll do, that little weak ground ball, and that's what the pitchers want you to do here.
And, of course, with 2 out, he left a possible go-ahead run at second base, so that's particularly galling. Bottom of the third, no score. It'll be Jody Reed and Rich Gedman and Wade Boggs. Reed playing a lot of infield. He has just 1 home run. He hit that against Cleveland in June. Reed hitting .400 in a few brief at-bats against the Yankees. Fouled away. The breeze we have blowing from right to left.
The thing about this Red Sox ball club, Vin, it is a young ball club. Greenwell, Benzinger, Burks, Reed. Last night they had that Quintana go in there. Lou Gorman says he's a cinch to make it. And, you know, you showed Evans when he was born, he was the old man of the ball club.
Yeah. Well, the future is certainly promising, and the present ain't so bad either here in Boston.
No way.
A drive to right, but Winfield is there. One away. We're ducking some scores for you to bring you up to date. As Charles Hudson prepares to Rich Gedman. Smith and Darling in that one. 1-1, top of the second inning. Giants in Houston, no score in a game that means so much for the Astros. Jim DeShay is pitching against Rick Russell. The Astros 7 games back of the Dodgers. The Dodgers, in case you missed the morning paper, not only blanked, not only no-hitted, but it was a perfect game turned in by Tom Browning of the Cincinnati Reds. So our heartiest congratulations to Tom Browning for a perfecto. The Astros, however, couldn't take advantage of it. They lost, so they stay 7 back. The Reds are 7.5 back. In fact, unless the Astros perform a miracle, you look at Boston or New York, Oakland, the Mets, and Los Angeles, and it means the playoffs and the World Series. All the games would be played on grass. 1-2. Hit down to Randolph. And that takes care of Gedman. 2 out.
Then as Boggs gets up, this statistic knocked me out. Wade Boggs, before today's game now, has been pitched 2,823 pitches. He has swung at 968 pitches. He has swung and missed only 32 times. That's a little more than once a week. And Dan Shaughnessy, the Boston Globe, calls this Chuck Wazelski the maniacal one, and I can see why. Can you believe that?
Remarkable man is Wade Boggs.
Oh, and he had 5 more. He didn't swing in the first inning. Didn't take 6 more because he took this one.
Fouled away. Boggs will become the first man in the 20th century to have 200 hits 6 straight years. Coming into this game, he has 193. He is also on his way to the batting championship, unless Kirby Puckett somehow beats him out, and it would be his 4th consecutive batting championship. And how tough is that? Well, you're talking about all-time greats. Rogers Hornsby won 6 straight, Ty Cobb 5 straight, Rod Carew and Honus Wagner 4 straight, and now maybe Boggs 4 straight.
Talking about Puckett, when they asked Kirby about it, he said about when he said, pray for me, pray.
Well, he's 8 points behind, so it's not as if he's out of sight.
No, he's not out of sight at all. How about the National League, though? It could end up somebody hitting under 300 to win their thing the way it's going.
Well, and of course, everybody knows about a low batting average, so to speak, to win a championship right here in Boston in 1968. Carl Yastrzemski won the batting title, and he hit .301. And who's to say, when you look at Gwynn Palmiro, Tony Gwynn with a bad thumb is hitting .307 in the National League. Rafael Palmiro .306, and the last time I looked, Gerald Perry about .305. 2-out walk to Boggs. So Wade has walked twice today. That means he has walked 113 times while striking out 33. Better than 4-1.
Swung and missed only 32 times. Well, that's amazing. I know a guy who did that in a doubleheader.
I'm sitting next to him. Here's Marty Barrett. Ball 1. Boggs does not steal. He has picked up 2, and he's been caught 3 times. Most of them, I'm sure, busted hit-and-run plays. Marty Barrett hit the ball fairly well inside the bag at third. Aguayo made a good play to get him and turn it into a force in the first inning. We're scoreless, bottom of the third, 2 out.
If Hudson can get out of this inning, not allow the Red Sox to run, he will have changed that attitude and feeling on that Yankee bench. You can bet me.
Oh, sure. I keep looking down in the bullpen, and I'm sure in a game of such great importance, there are a lot of people ready. Hudson is that kind of a pitcher. He's the Mr. Undecided of the Yankees. A fly ball to center, Gary Ward is there. Meaning when he doesn't know he's going to pitch in advance, he does pretty well. Right now, here's a look back, as Boggs has a look back at a very special Olympic moment.
An Olympic moment brought to you by the Prudential, going above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services. Los Angeles, 1984. Giuseppe and Carmine Arbagnoli of Italy are the favorites to win the pairs with Coxon division of the rowing competition. The two-time world champions increased their lead with each stroke. The Arbagnoli brothers, in addition to their world championships, they now add an Olympic gold medal.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do.
I'm a Prudential representative, and I help people review their life insurance needs, because I know how much the right life insurance means to me and my family.
You take pride in your life, so do we. Going above and beyond is our policy. So watch the Prudential above and beyond.
AT&T has just made Watts a whole new ballgame for any size business. Pick from a lineup of plans that give you call detail, distance-sensitive pricing, and major league discounts, even on international and AT&T card calls. If you thought AT&T Watts had just one pitch, now it's a whole new ballgame.
The tradition is here. The memories are waiting. The Red Sox reached the 1986 World Series on a wing and a prayer, rallying from a 3-1 deficit in the championship series to capture the pennant. Next Saturday, the Red Sox face the Yankees. The game of the week, only on NBC.
Don Mattingly followed by Dave Winfield and then Jack Clark. 1 ball and no strikes. We're in the 4th. Just 1 hit, a 2-out double to right by Ricky Henderson in the game. One and 1. Mattingly grounded out to the right side in the first inning.
That was a great equalizer right there. That was as good a curveball as you'll see.
Greg Swindell and Jimmy Key locked up in that one with Cleveland holding an edge 1-0 in the second. And Minnesota, Gary Gaetti's home run, leading 3-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Don Mattingly. Bouncer over the mound, up the middle, short hop by Barrett, but the throw way offline, backed up by Gedman. So Marty Barrett did well to get to the ball. And it's awfully hard to throw accurately one direction when you're going the other. And it'll be a base hit.
He just wanted to get that ball in the vicinity of first base, hoping that it would still be in time, but it's a real tough play when you're running that far and you have to throw to the base you're running away from. Gedman backed up the play nicely, though, and so there was no advance.
So Dave Winfield with a runner at first and nobody out. So the effort by Barrett, and now we'll see what happens with Winfield. He's been able to reach base safely in all but 16 games this year. Winfield has a home run and 4 RBIs against the Red Sox this year. He came into this game hitting .300 against Boston.
He was showing bunt, but I think he was just taking that pitch all the way, because if he punts in this ballpark, batting fourth, I think you'd have to revive Piniella.
1-0 the count to Dave. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He hits into a lot of double plays. He's got 17, but one of the reasons being he hits the ball so hard like he did the last time up. He hit a one-hopper right to the shortstop Reed. If he does that now, it's going to be an easy double play.
The Yankees have to make a big decision on Dave Winfield on the 15th of October. That's when they decide whether to renew his contract for 2 years. And you're talking about a lot of bucks if you renew it. It will be about $2 million a year, so you're talking to renew it as 4. And I understand the buyout is about 2, so October 15th is a big day.
And Bruce Hurst, as we look at the on-deck hitter, Jack Clark, Hurst, he's a free agent after this year, so they're talking about contract to him.
Now, I understand Mrs. Yawkey and Lou Gorman told Hurst, don't leave town. When the season's all over, stay here a couple of days. We don't want you to go home until the contract is settled. Fouled away. Still 1-2 to Dave Winfield.
I'll tell you, I was reading that collusion report. Nick Lau, how you say his name? He not only made it to see, he can write. It's interesting reading. It really is. And that thing is far from over, of course.
1-2. Little roller to third, and it's going to go foul. No score. We're in the 4th inning. The Yankees no runs, 2 hits. The Sox nothing against Charles Hudson. You joined us late. Tommy John was supposed to start for the Yankees, bothered by a stomach virus. On the bus coming to the ballpark and in the dressing room a couple of hours before the game, Tommy said he was going to try, and then when it got close to game time, he couldn't make it. So Charles Hudson is the pitcher. There he is, and he's done well for 3 innings.
You know, there's a lot to it. We kind of sloughed it off that when you don't know you're going to pitch, it's a whole different feeling.
Got him. Well, Winfield looked like he was going after a splitter, either that or a change, but the bottom dropped out of it, and down he goes.
From up here, it looked like the split finger because he really changes the bad ball. It changes speed, and he just couldn't reach it. If he hits that ball, doesn't hit it anywhere. Good pitch by Hurst.
Second strikeout for Bruce, and the batter now will be Jack Clark. You were talking about an interesting story about a pitcher pitching well when he didn't know that he was going to pitch until the last minute.
It's a great Earl Weaver story that sometimes pitchers, you just get so worked up that if you don't tell them, they're better pitchers. So Earl had this pitcher, and he was having bad times, and finally his roommate said, look, don't tell him and let him pitch. So he did that, and he was fine. And they got to the playoffs, and he had to tell the kid to pitch, and the kid got rocked, and so they get knocked out of the playoffs. So it's all over. The season's over now. Weaver walks up to him and says, here's the ball. You're my opening day pitcher next year. Now you worry about it all winter.
Merry Christmas. 0-1, the count to Jack Clark. Well, that was the story on Charles Hudson with the Yankees until finally Hudson said, look, I'm a grown man. I can read the papers, and I know when my time comes up. But it just seemed every time he was the last-minute pitcher, he did well. There's that splitter. 0-2 to Jack Clark. So Bruce Hurst, who is a very successful pitcher anyway, having won 17, but here at Fenway, he's 12-1.
This will be interesting to watch how he works now on Clark. 2 strikes, big free swinger. He's got the second strike with the off-speed pitch.
Blew him away.
And you see where it was. The outside part to play. And Clark wants to know if it was a good strike, and it was.
That's 3 strikeouts for Bruce Hurst. And with 2 down, Gary Ward. Take another look.
He doesn't get cheated on the swing. He didn't really get into it, but he had a pretty good swing at it. But look where he spots this ball. Gedman's right on that outside corner, and it's hard and right there.
You know, Clark for the last month is hitting less than 200, so that's really hurting the Yankees. Here's Ward, who hit into a force play. When talking about a power outage and the New York Yankees, the guy who sums it up is the manager, Lou Piniella. When the Yankees were in Seattle, they had a power outage, and Piniella was on the 47th floor, and he had 2 suitcases. And, of course, the bellman couldn't get to the room. He carried the 2 suitcases 47 floors down. That's 94 flights of stairs. That's a power outage. Fouled away, 1-2.
He was the only guy that carried him down. The rest of the players, they waited for the bellman, but not old Lou. So he's pretty outspoken, too, about the training. He thought there was just too many injuries as far as not running enough. He said they don't run enough, the pitchers. We time them in miles. He said baseball's a game of sprints and too much bicycle riding and equipment. Get out there and run.
1-2 to count to Gary Ward. Holding is Mattingly at first. No score in the 4th inning. Just missed. You hear the crowd groan as Hurst had him set up for the inside corner, but crowded him.
Tell you, the fella's not a thrower out there. Pretty obvious by his record. When you see him do things like that, especially in this ballpark, he's got an idea on every pitch. And that's what the purpose pitch is. You get 2 quick strikes, make it work for you, and that one did.
Crowds him again, ball 3. So Bruce Hurst nibbling now, trying to pick off a corner, and he's gone all the way to Gary Ward. With the runner going, it swung on and missed, and that, I think, was a splitter.
It was.
And Gary Ward goes down so that he strikes out the side.
My new Toyota Corolla? Oh, well, one look and logic just flew out the window.
Out the window?
It's gorgeous. I fell in love. I've been loyal to Corolla since graduate school for good logical reasons.
Such as?
They're affordable, they haven't let me down, and they hold their value. But this is a whole new dimension. It's so beautiful.
Legendary value, Toyota quality.
Who could ask for anything more?
Performance. For some people, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. Well, for all those people for whom good enough just isn't good enough, there's Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Nothing is whiter. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing protects you against wetness and odor in a bigger way. All-day performance that's hard to beat. If you're going to give 110%, your antiperspirant should give 110% too. Speed Stick, the wide stick.
Now available in Sport Talc.
5 minutes.
Once again, the truck and tractor pull competition has been unfairly excluded from the Olympic Games. At least I can pull off some great tasting Miller Lite. I can't wait till 9 to 2.
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
When you need tools, any kind of tools, for every kind of job, one name gives you more good choices than any other. Craftsman.
It's America's Day at the Races, live from Churchill Downs, the Breeders' Cup, this fall, only on NBC.
In the bottom of the 4th inning here at Fenway Park. No score in the ball game. And it'll be Dwight Evans, Mike Greenwell, and Todd Benzinger. For Evans, he lined out to left field. He'll start the parade, and you're talking about 2 of the really heavy hitters in the game. When they're together, you talk about the 2-punch knockout. Greenwell and Evans together are even more formidable than Canseco and McGuire, Brett and Tartabull, Van Slyke and Bonilla. Mike Greenwell started the game with 110 RBIs, and Dwight Evans is looking for his 100th. For Evans, figuring certainly he would get the RBI for 100. It means he will have 100 RBIs again for second consecutive year and the third time in his career. He also missed 100 by 3 in 1986. So Dwight Evans to start it off. No score, no runs, 2 hits for the Yankees, no runs, no hits for Boston. Want to know the count. Well, they talk about positioning being everything on defense, also offense, huh? Popped up. Behind first, Mattingly and Randolph, it'll be Randolph. One away.
Ideal sky for those nice pop flies is overcast, a few clouds up there to break it up.
Mike Greenwell coming up. Greenwell with 110 runs batted in. The other night, Greenwell hit for the cycle. You know, a single, double, triple, and home run. He did it against Baltimore on the 14th. Ken Coleman, the fine broadcaster for the Red Sox, was talking about hitting for the cycle. And he said it's probably rarer to hit for the cycle than to see a no-hitter.
Before you say the numbers that you get, what would you think if a guy asked you that? Which would be more rare, no-hitter or the cycle?
I thought the cycle.
See, I would think no-hitter. I really would.
Well, so Kenny did some research on it just to find out, because it's one of those things you say and then you look it up. There have been 187 no-hitters and 193 cycles. So 6 more. But I
didn't think it'd be that close.
No. So our thanks to Ken Coleman for a rather interesting note about the cycle. 0-2. Whoop.
Greenwell has not been hit that much. He got hit last night. In fact, in the first 50 games, he was hit by 8 pitches. Last 94, hit only once. That was last night. And like the good hitter, notice how he turns his shoulder in. Now, a lot of guys, that bat would go flying. Now, watch what happens here. He'll turn his head back. Oh, I tell you, that to me tells me good hitter, in control.
1-2. Chased it in the dirt. He might beat it out. It's being chased by Slaught, and he's aboard. So Greenwell strikes out and reaches anyway.
It was really a defensive swing that he took there. The ball was out of the zone, and it may be that high inside fastball had a little tougher message than appeared. I want to see what happens here, whether Slaught just butchers the ball or does it hit the ground.
It'll be a wild pitch.
Couldn't tell from there, but I tell you, he was behind it. It must have hit off his shin guard.
So a strikeout wild pitch, and Mike Greenwell is at first, and the batter will be Todd Benzinger. By the way, and talking about the rarest of the rare, a cycle, okay? How about the only player in baseball history, in Major League history, to hit for the cycle in each league?
I saw that. That's rare.
Oh, is it? There goes Greenwell. Off-speed pitch. Good one to run on, and he's stolen it. The throw into center field. Backed up by Ward. He's going to third. He's in there.
And he had a tough time getting away from Santana. Santana looked like he had him kind of blocked, and Greenwell really has to regroup. Good piece of hustling by Mike Greenwell. Now he goes into second base. It's a straight steal. That head is right looking at the bag. Head first slide. Now watch when the ball gets by him. Santana is over him. Almost got him blocked. And he had a tough time getting away from him.
So you have a man who struck out, who reaches on a wild pitch, steals second, and is at third on the error. The overthrow charge to Don Slaught. Now, that's a way to manufacture a run. There's one out. Todd Benzinger trying to pick him up, and he's dynamite, especially picking up men from third. He's hitting almost 400, getting people home from third base.
Here's that play once again. He really goes in hard. You see where he had trouble right there, and he made up his mind himself, slides hard here, and you got to be in some kind of shape to be able to do that.
It's interesting that he went from first to second with a head-first slide to cut down a chance of tagging him, but then he went from second to third with a feet-first slide.
I kind of think the way he was going into third, he was looking right at Aguayo, and usually the infielder's eyes will tell you where that throw's coming from, and he was going to slide that way. The head-first slide, he wanted to get in there as fast as he could, and really when he went in head-first, it picked up speed. Infielder's in, by the way.
2-0 the count, and they're squeezing on a pitch out that has him hung up. Slot will dive, got him.
Oh, no! He dropped the ball, and here comes Pinella.
Pinella is maintaining he tagged him out, I think, before he dropped the ball. And the third base umpire, Ted Hendry, said he was not in possession of the ball to make the tag.
I thought Slot held on to that ball a little bit too long, and when he had to dive, he really didn't have a tight grip on it. Now watch it here. The fastball, the outside part of the plate, the sign is missed. Now he's got him trapped right here. He should get rid of it, but he's going to take it all away. And now he's got to dive and reach, and that's where he loses it.
And what Pinella is saying is, yeah, he lost it, but he had already made the tag and did not lose the ball until his hand hit the ground.
He's got him hung up right there. You can see the hesitation.
Watch now.
Let's see if we can see it.
Well, no, you can't. But I know that's Pinella's argument, that he tagged him out and that he lost the ball upon falling to the ground. Watch from this angle. Tagged.
Elbow hit the ground.
And then
that's where he loses it right there. Now he's got the arm up.
Yeah, Pinella's saying, in other words, he didn't drop the ball until after the out was recorded. There's the out call by Ted Hendry.
When he lands on his elbow is when it's George loses, like an outfielder making the shoestring catch. If I'm making a call, I think he made the right call.
Boy, what a maddening thing to be the manager and watch the opposition hitter strike out and reach, steal second, get the third on an error, and then a busted squeeze play, and he's still alive at third. And there's ball 4 to Benzinger.
That really is one of those plays that has you talking to yourself, because there was obviously a busted play. Now, watch when he hits the ground. I mean, he's sure he tags him right there, but he's got to hold a little bit longer for me. Right there is when he lost it.
Out and safe. So Mike Greenwell is living well, and Lou Pinella talking to anyone who'll listen. In this case, pitching coach Clyde King. It'll be ruled an error to Slot. He's made 2 errors in the inning. Right. So Don Slot commits 2 errors. First and third, 1 out, and Ellis Burch trying to pick him up.
He had Greenwell. He made Greenwell commit himself. You saw that little stutter step, and Aguayo was there. If he flips the ball, Greenwell's an easy out, but he tried to eliminate the middleman, and it cost him.
And a save, and down to second base goes Benzinger, no play. Gene Michael talking to Pinella now, and Joe Morgan and Dewey Evans enjoying the prosperity.
You lose the chance for a double play. That's the second wild pitch in this inning, 2 errors. I mean, it's been one of those things that head for the antacid.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Ellis Burch. No score in the 4th, but the Sox now taking advantage. The Yankees playing fast and loose with the baseball. Mattingly talking to Charles Hudson.
Well, he wanted him to be sure where he knew what Randolph was playing, and then now they're going to go over signs, and I tell you, it's just a confused inning.
To repeat, Evans had popped up. Greenwell, after going down 0-2, struck out on a wild pitch and reached. Then he stole second. He took third when the throw went into center field. Benzinger on a busted squeeze play. Greenwell should have been out. Slot tagged him and lost the ball, and now a walk and a wild pitch. That's a strike. 1-2 to Ellis Burks, hitting .301.
Tell you, with the Benzinger hitting, they had the infield in. Now they're going to give up the run. They can't afford to give up 2 on the base hit. They're playing back. No chance for the double play. You got first base open. Tough spot.
1-2. Check swing and a looper to Mattingly, who holds the runners and tags him going by.
And did you see the way he tagged him? He had that bare hand. The ball was in his meat hand. He used the glove to protect himself so Burks couldn't knock it loose. He was going to make sure of that, and all the time he was watching third base. Now watch what he does with the ball. He comes up with it. Now watch that bare hand get in there. And he's going to make sure it's not knocked loose.
So there's a big out, 2 down. First base remains open. And Larry Parrish, the batter. With second and third, 2 down in the fourth, no score.
Then we talked about a change in attitude if Hudson got out of that last inning. If he gets out of this inning without a score, it'll really pick up that ball club.
No runs, 2 hits for the Yankees. No runs, no hits for Boston in the fourth inning. High fly ball to right field to Winfield. And Hudson is out of the inning, rather remarkably so. And the Sox lead 2. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
There is a new fall season, and it begins on October 3rd. Come home to the best.
Friends, we absolutely refuse to be undersold during our September blowout sale that's going on right now today. I mean, today at Viking Chevrolet in downtown Fridley. And yes, low down payments deliver. How about this car? Hey, 1984 Ford Tempo. You drive this car home today for only $3,388 or only $79 a month. Only at Viking Chevrolet. Let's pick the phone. Give us a call. 786-6100.
Новая хоккейная форма Купировцы G самая лучшая для скорости, удобна, эластична и придает мне уверенность, потому что ты никогда не знаешь, кто в другой раздевалке.
For our game, this new Cooperall CG Pro Girdle is the best protection ever. Hitting or being hit. In the corners or grinding it out. I feel good because you never know who's in the other room.
Ember's $3.99 steak and eggs, 2 farm fresh eggs, 3 buttermilk pancakes, hash brown potatoes, and a USDA choice sirloin steak, only $3.99. Ember's, big taste, small check.
Why waste time at other optical stores? Lens crafters can craft your top quality glasses in about an hour, because we put our lab right in the store.
The fact that I could get the lenses in an hour was terrific.
1 hour and coming out feeling happy.
Lens crafters took 42 minutes to do my glasses.
I was very impressed. I was just so surprised that they had it done in an hour.
Lens crafters. We spend our time saving your time.
Lens Crafters, custom crafted eyeglasses in about an hour. Burnsville Center, Southdale Center, Lomans Plaza, Crystal Shopping Center, and now in East St. Paul.
Randy Shaver on News 11.
Don Sloth, who is in the middle of everything in the bottom of the fourth inning, will lead it off in the fifth. He flied to right field, and Don is 0 for 1. You know, as a kid growing up in the streets and trying to play baseball and admiring the big leaguers, and then eventually being a broadcaster, the one disappointment I have had about watching big league players for all these years, the inability of all of them, I don't care what team it is, in a rundown. I've never seen, I don't know the last good textbook rundown I've seen.
There is none. There is no record of it. I mean, and it's one of the most practiced plays in spring training.
Wow.
I mean, that play right there, if Slot gives it to Aguayo, it's an easy play, but when you're in the middle of it.
Here's that rundown play again. Look at Aguayo now. If he just gives him the ball, he's got him dead to rights.
He's got him, but and when he tried to tag him, I mean, there goes the ball.
And now, as soon as Slot got in the dugout, Pinella's going to talk to him and say, look, maybe you did that at UCLA.
but not up here in the big league.
You don't hold that ball that long. You got to give it to the other guy. He's got to help you.
Luis Aguayo, remember now, that's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Hurst. He has 5 in the game. And here's Aguayo. By the way, I think we left you hanging. We're talking about Greenwell hitting for the cycle. The only man to hit for the cycle in each league of the major leagues is now coaching for the Oakland A's, Bob Watson. Aguayo struck out in the 3rd. We're in the 5th inning, no score. The Yankees, no runs, 2 hits. And the Red Sox, no runs, no hits. Foul ball. Too hot to handle. I guess the Yankees don't know whether to be happy or cry about that last inning. I mean, in a sense, they really dodged a bullet, but at the same time, the inning was so badly played by them, you have to have a little hangover from that.
Well, you do, except that the Red Sox have to feel worse. They got 5 outs that inning and couldn't cash it in.
And that nicked him. So Hurst, with Aguayo, no balls, 2 strikes, hits him with a pitch.
Tried to come inside. Remember, he got Aguayo in the 3rd inning when he came inside with the fastball. That just keeps coming in, and that gets him to where he's a base runner rather than setting him up for the pitch.
So Rafael Santana now will be coming up with a runner at first. Santana 0 for 2 last night. And for over 2 weeks now, over 17 games, he's hitting about 160. And they haven't picked off. Hey,
now that was done right.
Yeah,
right after you said it.
Yeah, but you know, it wasn't really much of a rundown because the runner just kept going. What I'm saying is if
when he
had
stops back and forth.
That's right.
But at least it was only handled once. Caught the ball and gave it to the infielder.
1-3-6.
Now, Santana hits into a lot of double plays, so you could see that they were going to try to come up with a play, and Hurst has got him picked off.
Remember, we talked about Bruce Hurst having a wonderful move. He has picked off runners 50 times now in his career, 4 times this year. And the Yankees pay for it. In there. Santana saying it was too high, and Aguayo back in the dugout wondering about what might have been.
And on the first pitch, I mean, that's what really makes it a little bit embarrassing.
In both English and Spanish.
Oh, any language. Get picked off in 7 different languages.
No score here in the 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. The only reason he was picked off, I'm sure, because he doesn't have a stolen base this year, Aguayo. There must have been a hit-and-run play on.
Had to be, yeah. Because Santana's hitting the 17 double plays. He's tied with Winfield, which is amazing because he, you know, the power hitter you expected, but a guy who sprays the ball, and you'd have to put Santana in that category. And they wanted to stay away from the double play, and boom, gets picked off.
1-2 the count. 2 down in the 5th inning, no score. Got him. That's a half a dozen strikeouts for Bruce Hurst. And at the end, a 4.5, no score.
Is he still upset?
Well, you know, Dad.
Never really understood why I joined. I mean, maybe you'll go straight to college. But I had to prove something to myself first.
The GI Bill and Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can get more than $25,000 for college and an edge on life.
You think Dad'll ever come around? Dad?
Hold on. So, did you check out any other 4x4s before getting another one of these?
Sure. There were some a little cheaper.
So how come you stuck with Toyota?
Well, my old one never let me down. How many things can you say that about?
Yeah, but if you could have saved a few bucks.
Why take chances?
What chances?
You got any idea how far it is back to town?
Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Go and smile. Go and smile. Show them your best. Show them your best. Baby, you made it. You passed the test. Show them your best. Best.
Go on, show them that winning smile. Year after year, more dentists recommend Crest than any other toothpaste.
Show 'em the Crest.
Ooh, I was mighty disappointed that bear wrestling was left out of the Olympic Games. Heck, at least I can enjoy some great tasting Miller Lights with my fellow competitors. It's an outrage, isn't it, boys?
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
Still waiting for that part on your lawnmower engine? Next time, make it a Briggs & Stratton engine and our 25,000 fully stocked parts and service centers all across America. Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
Today's game is brought to you by Toyota. There's quality, then there's Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more? I'll tell you who could ask for a little more would be Rafael Santana. He was asking the plate umpire Al Clark for a little less strikeout and a little more judgment. Here's that strike-free pitch. He thought it was inside, and he's not finished with Al Clark. Luis Aguayo trying to keep him from being kicked out. And Clark was going right after him.
See, that's the thing that, the umpires, they say, well, we're not going to take anything. He should have just walked over to first base and let him blow off the steam, but going after him, it just kept it going. And the umpire is going to take charge, no question about it, but why go after him?
And I guess, after all, we were talking before about I'm only human, right? Well, the umpires are only human. If Santana said something that instinctively touches a nerve, even if you are an umpire, I guess you're going to go after him.
You are, but you got to think of the situation. I mean, they are fighting for a pennant. Come on.
Bottom of the fifth inning, no score. Jody Reed, Rich Gedman, and then Wade Boggs. Ball one.
But I will say this, the president of the American League is in the ballpark, Dr.
Yes,
Bobby Brown, so he saw it all.
Jody Reed flied to right in the third inning. He's 0 for 1. No runs, 2 hits for the Yankees. No runs, no hits for the Red Sox, and we're in the bottom of the fifth. Foul ball. 1-1.
Yeah, we haven't seen it on our game, but that wall that juts out there, you saw that ball boy just play it perfectly. Sometimes that ball is hit between third baseman and the bag. You have to be careful that the ball may carry him right back into the infield, so the shortstop's got to be alive. See that jutting out area right there.
The wall becomes a weapon for the Red Sox, not only offensively, but defensively. Knowledge of that left field wall plays a great part in the defensive pattern of Mike Greenwell as opposed to the other left fielders throughout the year. High fly ball to left field. Looking up at it is Henderson, and this one is off the wall. And by that time, Reed is into second base with a double. For Jody Reed, the first hit off Charles Hudson is a fly ball off the monster.
And it was hit so high that it was the center fielder Ward who plays the ball off the wall. Now, he knows he's hit it hard. Now, he gets by Henderson. And there's Gary Ward.
Here's the interesting point about the wall and Mike Greenwell and the opposition. The Red Sox have hit 8 singles off the green monster. That's all. Most of the time, if they hit the monster, it's an extra base hit. Opponents have hit the wall, and they have 18 singles. And that's a big difference, 10 base hits, and it shows you that Greenwell plays the left field wall better than the other teams. And sure enough, while planting the seed for that thought, then Reed comes up and doubles off the wall. Gedman trying to get something he can pull, grounded out to the right side. Aguayo is up on the edge of the grass, and Mattingly is near the bag at first, faked by Hudson. Will Johnny Sane move to second?
Now, Ben, we had a discussion in Wrigley Field. This is where Gedman, for me, from now on, with the kind of a game it is, he's got to at least pick up a base with the out. He has to pull the ball.
And if they ask him to bunt, he has sacrificed 7 times. Showing bunt, takes ball, a throw back to Santana. 1 ball and no strikes to Gedman. Don Slaught would love to do something right.
Try to nail somebody and make everybody forget that bottom of the fourth inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Boy, Santana's really bird-dogging Reed, so they go to him again.
A rule of thumb is if you can get daylight between the runner and yourself as the infielder, you should be able to get a throw from the pitcher. But in a bunt situation like this, Reed obviously looking for the pickoff, so he's ready to go back at the first move.
Mattingly is up now on the grass. He's looking bunt. Gedman shows bunt, takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
When the base runner becomes vulnerable is when it's the other way around with the right-hand batter and the curveball goes outside and the batter leans over as if he's going to bunt. Then that kind of decoys the runner. But this is a little tough to pick the man off second base at his catcher to infielder.
I assume it was Clyde King hollering out of the Yankee dugout to Hudson, who nodded yes. 1-1. Yankees pull up the corner, still looking bunt. Gedman showing bunt. Got it down to Mattingly. No play at third. So the sacrifice works for the 8th time this year. It's Gedman moves his man along. So Reed is at third with 1 out, and they leave it up to Boggs and Barrett.
Good bunt. Gedman really deadens it. Mattingly took a good look at third, but Reed had a good jump off second base, went in with a head first slide, and Mattingly's only plays the first base.
Now Wade Boggs, who has walked twice. He has been very good in picking men up from third with less than 2 out, and the Yankee infield has to come up. Ball 1. Boggs with 53 RBIs. We'll see if they even give him a strike, having walked him twice already. High fly ball slicing down the line in the corner. One-handed in the corner by Henderson, and the run scores.
That would have been a fair ball, Vin. I tell you, that wind must have taken that thing. When it gets in that corner, it swirls, and you can see Henderson pointing that out. It's a good thing he didn't give up on that ball, because that ball was in the stands and just kind of drifted out. He's just a little bit bewildered himself. That ball really came slicing out. Right here, that's in the stands. Now watch where he catches this ball. Not a whole lot of room there, and he's got to go back. You can see the foul pole.
Yeah, this is a good angle.
Oh, good angle. I mean, this thing, if he gives up on it, he's in deep trouble. That's a fair ball.
In fact, it almost had enough carry to hit the base of the foul pole there in the corner. There was no appeal. It's not as if Piniella is arguing that he left third too soon.
Can't imagine what they're arguing about. It's a discussion more than an argument. Jim Evans is taking charge here. Ted Henry to the left, and it's Dale Ford in the middle.
So it is 1-0 in favor of the Red Sox here in the 5th inning as Wade Boggs gets a scoring fly ball into the left field corner. As we said, there was no appeal. They didn't throw the ball to third. But now Hudson is getting up on the mound, but Aguayo, who was near the bag, walks away. So 2 out, 1-0 Boston. And here's Marty Barrett. Now they're going to throw to third, I think. Again, Aguayo goes over there, but Hudson is on the rubber. Let's see if he turns and throws it to him. And here comes Piniella again, asking for time. I protest the game, he said. He's going to play the game under protest, and according to the rules, you have to announce it. That's what he said. I protest the game. Now their first base umpire, Jim Evans, is over. Now that Piniella has said that he protests the game. There was no question of time being called, and they have not as yet Hudson is going to throw over to Luis Aguayo, but right now he's throwing over just to warm up.
And Clyde King is now talking to Ted Henry. I wonder, I didn't see any interference. The fan leaning over, he still made the play. I don't know.
Let's take one more look at the catch. I'll tell you one thing, Piniella couldn't have seen the catch anyway. Not from the dugout.
I just thought it was a good play. It's the fact that he did not give up on the ball because it started out in the stands like it was going to be a foul ball, and Ricky stayed with it.
Usually, the next thing you would expect is for the pitcher to get the ball, get on the rubber, then back off and throw over to third, claiming that Reed had left third too soon, but the Yankees didn't do that. I don't believe anyone had said anything about time, and we certainly didn't see any interference down in the corner.
Well, Piniella's protesting because the umpire ruled fan interference on the fly ball and apparently overruled.
Fan interference. In other words, someone high up in the stands looking down at Henderson did something to try and interfere with the flight of the ball or with the catch by Henderson, but we certainly couldn't see it. That's one of the problems here. We can get a camera down in the corner, but where we are directly behind home, we could not see that corner, nor could Piniella.
Piniella couldn't even come close. He didn't know what happened to Henderson because he's farther back than we are.
Sure. Now, I don't know whether they're saying somebody up there interfered. No way, said Piniella. That's what I said. No way. Morgan doesn't say anything, but the game is now being played under protest. It is 1-0 in favor of the Red Sox.
They're going to have to make an official announcement here,
sure.
Because you got all these fans here, including us, who's just thoroughly confused by what's going on here.
But when he came out, the very first thing he said, I protest the game. We look at Al Clark, the plate umpire, to get some kind of help, and he kind of shrugged his shoulders and just gestured over towards the Yankee dugout. You know, watch Clyde King talking about the trajectory of the ball.
He made the play. That's the big thing.
I'm just amazed how Piniella could have seen anything at all down in the corner. If
he heard it, he must have heard the umpire rule fan interference.
That's the point, because where our camera is in the far corner of the Yankee dugout, if you were standing with our cameraman and you were looking towards the left field corner, if you were there, you couldn't see. Foul back. 0-2. So you can see the far corner of the Yankee dugout. There is no way you can see in that corner. And yet Piniella came right out. And maybe it was because of something that the third base umpire, Ted Henry, did.
He must have indicated something that said interference.
0-2 to Marty Barrett. Check swing foul. This is quite a dandy, isn't it? Considering the fourth inning and now the fifth. This is Lou Piniella's point of view from the dugout. Now, as you can see, there's no way he could see anything that happened down below the grandstand.
All he could see was maybe some fan waving his arms, but he had to hear something. I don't think he saw it. Couldn't.
Got him. So Marty Barrett is hit by a pitch.
You realize in this inning we've only had one official at bat so far, and one run is in, the base run is on. Double, sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly.
And it's played under protest.
Played under protest, 2 wild pitches, 2 everything.
Marty Barrett being plunked. It would be the 6th time this year he's been hit. And here's Dwight Evans. Red Sox 1 run, 1 hit. Yankees no runs, 2 hits. Evans has flied to left and popped up. 0 for 2. And he pops that one up into right. Winfield there. And that's it. It is a rather noisy 5th inning. 1 run, 1 hit. And the big question, what took place down in the left field corner?
The road is filled with all kinds of surprises and hazards.
Hey,
That's why if you want a smooth, comfortable ride...
Boy, do I need a smooth, comfortable ride.
Get a set of Monroe Gasmatic shocks or struts. They'll give you the best ride ever, guaranteed. They're so good...
Hey, great ride.
They'll even help you handle the curve. No wonder America rides Monroe shocks and struts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Tim Simmons, State Farm agent. One day, my policyholders got the back of their family car banged up. But Van and Mary and the boys didn't have to miss any family outings. They reported their claim directly to me. Our claims people were on the job pronto, so that Van and Mary could get their car fixed fast. Now they know why more people think that State Farm is the best buy in car insurance. We keep things moving, so you can keep your family moving.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The odds are against you. It's 3-1. You're going to lose. When you ignore plaque, you're gambling with gingivitis, an early form of gum disease. You need Listerine Antiseptic, the only non-prescription mouthwash accepted by the American Dental Association for its significant help in preventing and reducing plaque and gingivitis. And Listerine still kills bad breath germs. So brush, floss, and use Listerine to help prevent gingivitis. Chances are you'll beat the odds.
Best Western means instant worldwide reservations for all my clients.
Wherever my tours go, I can depend on Best Western.
Best Western has rates to fit your expense allowance.
Best Western has a variety and locations for any kind of meeting.
They have convenient locations no matter how you travel.
Whatever your reason for traveling, Best Western is the right place at the right price with over 3,000 independently owned and operated hotels worldwide. So for Best Western reservations, call your travel agent.
Certainly the guess that we made about Lou Piniella is now justified. We'll tell you about it in a moment. Right now, the pitch of the plate, a strike. You can see the fan reaching out. The fan didn't come within a foot, maybe 2 feet of touching the ball. The third base umpire, and that's what Lou Piniella saw, the third base umpire, Ted Hendry, called fan interference. Okay. Then Jim Evans called up to the press box and said that fan interference had been called by Ted Hendry, but the ruling is that Reed would have scored anyway. But of course, Piniella's saying beans, and it's an appropriate expression here in Boston. Beans, if he had said it, or a reasonable facsimile. And it is 1-0 Red Sox in the 6th inning. Ricky Henderson, Willie Randolph, Don Mattingly. Well, I've seen outfielders drowned in beer. I saw Frank Howard once where a fan poured a huge bucket of popcorn on him. That's hitting the gap for a base hit. Flagged by Evans. Ricky's going for 2. The throw in is dropped at second base. Reed had him.
Reed tried to decoy is what he tried to do because Ricky was not running that hard rounding first base. When he saw Evans come up with the ball, he thought he could make it. And Reed was acting like he was just going to be a routine throw coming in, and he just couldn't hold the ball. Now watch it. Here's where Henderson breaks into his attempt to make the second base. Now watch Reed just kind of standing there. See him just standing there decoying, and now he's going to make the quick tag, took his eye off the ball, and never really catches it.
What a great throw by Dwight Evans, right on the money.
Oh, it was there in plenty of time.
No errors. It will be ruled a double, so the Yankees now have the tying run at second base. Nobody out in the 6th inning, and here's Willie Randolph. And he bunts. Good bunt. Hurst in a hurry. Got him, and on the sacrifice, Henderson takes third. So the tying run is 90 feet away, and the batter will be Don Mattingly. You talk about a battle in the high-rent district. Here we go.
Well, the Red Sox had their man up there that they wanted, Wade Boggs, who can put the ball in play, and they scored the run on the ball hit to Henderson, and now the Yankees, with a man at third, have their man up there who can put the ball in play, Mattingly.
Mattingly has grounded out and singled up the middle. Remember when Marty Barrett backhanded but made the off-balance throw to pull Todd Benzinger off the bag. The infield is back. Henderson at third with 1 out. Strike. Started him fastball, challenged him on the inside corner. Well, what a great battle this is now. The 17-game winner, Bruce Hurst, and Don Mattingly. he pulled on the ground to Benzinger. The run will score, and that ties it up.
And that's all he did was put the ball in play. And with Henderson at third, he scored easily. Looked like that first pitch he was going to take it unless it was the breaking ball, because that was a good curveball that hurls through, and Mattingly was waiting for it.
So the run is in here in the sixth inning of a 1-1 tie, and Dave Winfield the batter. Winfield is grounded to short and struck out. One run, 3 hits for the Yanks. 1 run, 1 hit for Boston. Mattingly picks up the tying run. Boggs picked up the run for the Sox. 4-1.
For the little bunt. So underrated. Guys don't practice it enough. They don't execute enough. But when it is executed, you can see what happens. Gedman for the Red Sox. Randolph for the Yankees, and they pick up the run.
Ground ball to Benzinger. Todd brings it to the bag, and the inning is over, but not before the Yankees get even. And at the end of 5 1/2, all even at 1.
It's Chevy S10 versus Ford Ranger, folks, in the dash from destruction. 2 compact pickups with biggest available engines and automatics in a test of getaway acceleration. Which one has the power to win? Chevy's bigger V6 is pulling away from Ford and that runaway dynamite car. Chevy S10 is outpowering Ford. No wonder when it comes to pickups, America is having a change of heart.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevy truck.
Deep in the cellar of the brew house, a beer was brewed with the finest Bavarian hops. For a taste so rare, so smooth, the kegs had to be guarded by lions. The beer was Lowenbrau, German for the Lion's Brew. And today, that hearty taste is still carefully guarded under license and authority of Lowenbrau, Munich. Lowenbrau, the Lion's Brew. Called for in America and around the world.
There are headaches.
And the car payment is overdue.
And headaches. There's aspirin and aspirin. Anacin. Clinical tests show that Anacin relieves headaches better than regular aspirin.
Feeling better, hun?
Not just better, better. Anacin. Better relief.
Will your new car outlive your new car loan? Give your engine extra protection with STP's new Super Wear Control. It helps your car run like you longer, so you have something to show for your investment down the road.
Come home to the best and discover how the world's best are doing in Seoul. Following baseball, the Olympic Games, only on NBC.
We're going to the bottom of the sixth inning in a game that means so much, particularly to the Yankees. After all, the Red Sox won a big one last night, and they are leading the Yankees by 4 1/2. Not to mention how important it is for the Detroit Tigers, who suddenly become Yankee fans, trying to root them to bring Boston a little closer. The Sox have won 7 out of 10. The Yankees have won 7 out of 10. Detroit has gone the other way. They've lost 7 out of 10. But the Yankees are really fortunate. If you go back to the 1st of August, from August 1 to September 7th, that's 5 weeks, the Yankees were 11 and 24. And yet with that dismal record, we're only 5 games out.
But the Tigers, yeah, they've been losing.
Right, 19 out of 23. Well, here's Mike Greenwell, then Todd Benzinger and Ellis Burke. Fouled away, 0-1. Greenwell flied to center in the first inning, and then in the fourth, an 0-2 pitch almost took his head off. Then he swung, perhaps in anger, at a breaking ball in the dirt, missed it. It got away from Slaught, and he reached on a strikeout wild pitch. Stole second, took third on an overthrow. Looked like he was a dead duck on a busted squeeze play, only to survive and still never got home. Don Slaught, who fought his way out of a catcher's nightmare in the fourth inning, now even up 1-1 in the sixth. For Charles Hudson, it's been a while for him. We told you his last start was a disaster in Anaheim, and you can bet the Yankees are watching him to make sure he suddenly doesn't have his needle hit empty. 2-1. Fouled away. The Yankee bullpen quiet.
has not been able to get his curveball over to Greenwell. The two curveballs he threw were the two pitches that missed, and the fastball is what has been able to throw for a strike, and Greenwell is really sitting on that one.
Hudson has just one complete game, so to ask him to go 9 is asking a great deal. 2-2. By the mound, down to Randolph. 1 away. Todd Benzinger has grounded out and walked.
38. Benzinger, first base, Benzinger.
In there.
Ben Pinella really, I don't think, has a leg to stand on. Rule 3.16, 316 really deals specifically with the play we just saw. As soon as I get a foul ball, I'll be glad to read it to you.
0-1. Foul ball.
Okay, thank you very much. Room service. Runner on third base, 1 out, and the batter hits the fly ball deep to the outfield, fair or foul. Spectator clearly interferes with the outfielder attempt to catch the fly ball. Umpire calls the batter out for spectator interference. Ball is dead at the time of the call. Umpire decides that because of the distance the ball was hit, the runner on third base would have
beating the Yankees by 4.5. Not to mention how important it is for the Detroit Tigers, who suddenly become Yankee fans, trying to root them to bring Boston a little closer. The Sox have won 7 out of 10. The Yankees have won 7 out of 10. Detroit has gone the other way. They've lost 7 out of 10. But the Yankees are really fortunate. If you go back to the 1st of August, from August 1 to September 7th, that's 5 weeks, the Yankees were 11-24. And yet, with that dismal record, we're only 5 games out.
But the Tigers, yeah, they've been losing.
Right, 19 out of 23. Well, here's Mike Greenwell, then Todd Benzinger and Ellisburg. Fouled away, 0-1. Greenwell flied to center in the first inning, and then in the 4th, an 0-2 pitch almost took his head off. Then he swung, perhaps in anger, at a breaking ball in the dirt, missed it. It got away from Slaught, and he reached on a strikeout wild pitch. Stole second, took third on an overthrow. Looked like he was a dead duck on a busted squeeze play, only to survive and still never got home. Don Slaught, who fought his way out of a catcher's nightmare in the 4th inning, now even up 1-1 in the 6th. For Charles Hudson, it's been a while for him. We told you his last start was a disaster in Anaheim, and you can bet the Yankees are watching him to make sure he suddenly doesn't have his needle hit empty. 2-1. Fouled away. The Yankee bullpen quiet.
Has not been able to get his curveball over to Greenwell. The two curveballs he threw were the two pitches that missed, and the fastball is what has been able to throw for a strike, and Greenwell is really sitting on that one.
Hudson has just one complete game, so to ask him to go 9 is asking a great deal. 2-2. By the mound, down to Randolph. 1 away. Todd Benzinger has grounded out and walked.
38. Benzinger, first base, Benzinger.
In there.
Ben Pinella really, I don't think, has a leg to stand on. Rule 3.16, 316 really deals specifically with the play we just saw. As soon as I get a foul ball, I'll be glad to read it to you.
0-1. Foul ball.
Okay, thank you very much. Room service. Runner on third base, 1 out, and the batter hits the fly ball deep to the outfield, fair or foul. Spectator clearly interferes with the outfielder attempt to catch the fly ball. Umpire calls the batter out for spectator interference. Ball is dead at the time of the call. Umpire decides that because of the distance the ball was hit, the runner on third base would have scored after the catch if the fielder had caught the ball, which was interfered with. Therefore, the runner is permitted to score.
0-2.
There it is.
0-1. And, of course, the fan never touched the ball, and the batter was not called out for fan interference because the ball was caught, obviously, and the run is in. What do you do when you play a game under protest? You can withdraw your protest. That's hit to left field, Henderson. Right there. 2 down. I remember, and this goes back a long time, broadcasting a game in the Coliseum, and Bertie Tebbetts was the visiting manager, and there was a play that involved a bat and a ball on the ground, and Bertie played the game under protest, and then during the inning break, he came into the tunnel of the Coliseum and hollered up to me, "Do you have a rule book?" So I said, "Yeah," and I threw the rule book down to him, and he stood there very quietly, went through the rule book. Ball 1. Muttered, tossed the book back up, and I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to withdraw my protest. I'm wrong." And he went back out, and we knew before the umpires did that Bertie was going to withdraw his protest. Strike, 1-1.
Of course, the best way to withdraw the protest is to win.
Yeah, and how? 1-1 the count. Ellis Burks, who has grounded to third, grounded to first. He's 0 for 2. Oh, good pitch, off speed. 1-2. Burks, of course, is a dandy hitter. Came into the game hitting .302. So it takes some good pitches to get him. He's the one everyone here says is going to be a great player.
And he's doing it in a nice, quiet, professional way. You hardly ever read anything about what he says. He just does it bat, ball, and glove. That's it.
1-2 the count to Ellis Burks. Check swing, and it's hit to the left of the mound to Hudson, who takes care of him. It's a 1-1 tie at the end of 6. In the land of the bean and the cod, we got rhubarb. We'll be back after these messages.
Coming this fall, a stylish and seductive new series about life, death, and radio. Midnight Caller on NBC.
Ember's $3.99 steak and eggs, 2 farm fresh eggs, 3 buttermilk pancakes, hash brown potatoes, and a USDA choice sirloin steak, only $3.99. Ember's, big taste, small check.
Are you concerned about the water your family drinks? For just pennies a day, Culligan drinking water is the best solution money can buy. I'll show you why. This is the Culligan Aqua Clear drinking water system. First, these filters remove the chlorine, sediment, and dirt found in most tap water. Then, Culligan's reverse osmosis filter catches remaining suspended particles, plus most dissolved impurities, including sodium. This Culligan H82 is cited by the National Sanitation Foundation for compliance in the reduction of these and other contaminants. Finally, this filter polishes the fresh taste and clarity of gallons of clean, clear Culligan drinking water. Available in your kitchen and ice cube maker every day. Call your Culligan man now. For a limited time, basic installation of a dependable Culligan drinking water system in your home or apartment is just $10. Don't second-guess your family's drinking water. Get all the facts from the world leader in water treatment. Call your Culligan man now.
Dennis Beltkin on News 11.
7th inning of a 1-1 tie. Clark, Ward, and Sloth. The game being played under protest by Lou Piniella. Fan interference and the call by the umpire. Now, we want to show you where the fan was on that ball. Maybe 2 feet. Watch that left hand. You see the blur a foot or 2 feet away. So it's not as if he interfered. But, of course, Pinella's argument is that that fan's hand perhaps screened Henderson for the moment. But he's going to lose it as Joe read you the rule. We have a 1-1 tie in the 7th. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Jack Clark. Walked in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. Hurst has struck out a half a dozen. Bruce has a high of 11 this year. He did that twice. He struck out 11 Toronto hitters and 11 Seattle Mariners.
He's really been living on that outside corner. He got Clark on a fastball after 2 slow curveballs on the outside corner, but right now he's behind. 2 balls and a strike.
And as a hopper backhanded by Jody Reed, who sets for the long throw to get him. 1 away. Friends, this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Gary Ward hit into a force play and struck out 0 for 2.
You don't think Reed knew who was running, do you? He caught that ball, and he really braced himself and made a strong throw.
Strike to Gary. On deck, Don Slaught. The Yankees and Red Sox play here tomorrow, and they have 3 after that at Yankee Stadium next week. And NBC will be right there. Tomorrow, Mike Smithson is due to go for Boston, and Ron Guidry for the Yankees. Just missed. 2-1 the count.
You can see Hurst is really pitching his own game because you don't see him shaking his head, but you saw him stare down the sign. A lot of times a pitcher will just keep looking in, and he forced Gedman to give him a new one.
Two and two the count. Bruce Hurst, he's 30 years old, 6'3", 215-pounder out of St. George, Utah. Got him.
Stayed on that outside corner and then came back with the fastball, and he's got himself, according to my scorebook, Vin, 7 strikeouts.
7 it is. So 7 strikeouts for Bruce Hurst in this 1-1 tie. We'll take another look.
Gedman's on that outside corner, but it looked like it was right down the middle. Ward might have thought it was low. The ball was down. I couldn't even read that.
Don Slaught fouling it away, 0-1. We told you that Hurst has a high of 11 strikeouts in a game this year, and he's done it twice. The high in his career last year, he struck out 14 in a game. He did it twice, the last time against Oakland. 0-1. Talking about Oakland, the A's, especially Oakland itself, a nightmare area for Boston. They were 0-6 in California up at Oakland, but they split the 6 here. Fastball got him looking. 8 strikeouts. Now here's another edition of Characters of the Game.
Characters of the Game. Brought to you by A&W. Sit back and try yourself an A&W root beer or cream soda. It could only happen in Hollywood. May 5th, 1962, Bo Belinsky of the Angels no-hits the Orioles and becomes an overnight sensation. And Bo took full advantage of Tinseltown's offerings, becoming the life of the party. Suddenly, his off-the-field roster included desirables like Mamie Van Doren, Jane Mansfield, Tina Louise, that's right, from Gilligan's Island, Playmate of the Year Joe Collins, and Ann Margaret, then a Hollywood starlet. No doubt no one in history ever made more of 28 lifetime victories than Bo Belinsky, baseball's Casanova with a curveball, and a true character of the game.
There are 3 good reasons to try A&W root beer. 1, it's rich and delicious. 2, it's a great change of pace. 3, you don't buy it, I may have to go back to my old job. Pig catching.
A&W, the root beer people, have a cream soda with such old-style, creamy taste. Just one sip made me wax so nostalgic. I invited all my childhood buddies to Hollywood. Hi, buddies.
Coming up next, the arenas come to life as competition begins in Seoul. Today, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, women's platform diving and boxing make their debut as NBC's coverage begins. That's today, following the Major League Baseball Game of the Week, only on NBC. Bottom of the 7th inning, and they're playing for the gold here at Fenway in a 1-1 tie. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Yankees. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for the Red Sox. The only Red Sox hit, Jody Reed doubled off the left field wall in the 5th inning, was sacrificed to third and scored on Boggs' disputed fly ball to left. The Yankee run, Henderson doubled to right, and he would have been out had Jody Reed held on to the throw. He was sacrificed to third and scored on Mattingly's ground ball. So if you just joined us, you've come at the right time. Larry Parrish, Jody Reed, and Rich Gedman.
Charlie Hudson, I'll tell you, he has given Piniella more than he had a right to expect. He's given him 6 real tough innings.
For those of you who joined us late, Tommy John was supposed to pitch today, was going to pitch even as he suited up in the clubhouse, but he had a stomach virus, and finally John had to come out. So Charles Hudson rushed into the breach and has made only 89 pitches in 6 innings. 1-1 in the 7th.
He's been able to lay that curveball in an outside corner when he struck Parrish out in that 2nd inning. That's exactly what he did. And you'd be a fool to give this guy a fastball to hit the way he's breaking that curveball off.
He's walked 1, he has struck out 1, he has hit 2. One ball and 1 strike. Larry Parrish, since coming over to Boston, has hit a half a dozen home runs and 22 RBIs. He had a stretch where he had 4 home runs in 5 games. 2-1.
You have to give Gorman a lot of credit. We talk about the young ball players, but what about the pickups he's made, like Parrish, like Cerrone?
2 balls, 1 strike. In there. 2-2.
Hadn't shown him a fastball yet. He hadn't even wasted one. All breaking balls.
Parrish, Reed, and Gedman here in the 7th. 1-1 tie. Fouled away. Lights have been on for most of the game. Hazy sky. The importance of the game also, I'm sure, dictating the lights to go on as early as they were turned on. Two balls and 2 strikes. There's the fastball on the inside corner. So after all the breaking balls, he blows him away with a fastball. Only the 2nd strikeout for Charles Hudson.
You hear the expression, work on the hitter. That's exactly what Hudson and Slot did. Look at Slot lean in, and here comes the fastball, and it just freezes him.
Great bit of pitching. So 1 down in the 7th. 5 in a row retired by Charles Hudson. And here is Jody Reed, who has the only hit, a fly ball double off the wall in left. Right. He also flied to right. So Reed is 1 for 2. He scored the run. And in all honesty, had Jody handled a perfect throw from Dwight Evans, the Yankees would not have scored. Comebacker off the glove of Hudson, deflected to Santana, who throws, and too late, a great save by Mattingly. Otherwise, that ball is in the Red Sox dugout.
That was a good play by Mattingly because it was an aggressive throw by Santana. He didn't have a chance to get Reed. Hudson thought he had the play made. It comes right back to him. He's really not in good position. It goes right off his glove, and Santana's got throw on his mind all the way, but it's not even close.
So Mattingly saves a base because he has to leave the bag right there, or it's gone into the Sox dugout. So now with 1 out, Reed at first. What do you do if you're Rich Gedman? Well, you follow orders, first of all. So what will Joe Morgan do? Gedman, slow of foot, has sacrificed 8 times. Would you have him bunt to get the tiebreaker to second base and stay out of the double play,
No.
even though it's the second out?
No.
And let Wade Boggs drive him in?
No, I might put a play on. Now, that throw right there was to see if his hand would slide up the bat handle and tell the catcher if it was bunt. He didn't show bunt at all. I was watching his hands. I would think he might put a play on, but I don't think he'd be bunting.
They're going to try and take a step away from Reed.
Be alive, Jody.
Gedman came into the game hitting .226. In the bullpen, Cipolito Pena, a left-hander, begins to throw now. First activity in the Yankee pen today.
You know, interestingly enough, Gedman went up the bat handle that time as we look at Pena.
I'll tell you what.
What?
I mean, seriously, we are talking about the on-deck hitter as one of the great hitters in the history of the game, Wade Boggs.
Well, now, that last swing he took may dictate, but, you know, it's all opinion. I still don't think, if anything, I would start Reed, but I don't think I'd have him bunting. I might get a bonus here if I let him hit.
0-1 the count to Gedman. And, of course, too, if he does sacrifice him, there's nothing to prevent the Yankees from walking Boggs.
You're going to have Barrett try to have to knock in the run. I'm not even thinking Boggs.
Right.
Now, 2 strikes and no balls. You figure he's going to waste this one, right? I mean, that's what they usually say, waste this pitch.
And he has kept the ball up, you notice, so if he wastes it, maybe he's going to waste it over his head.
And it's an easy ball for Slot to handle. Little finger, what in the world is that? Throw over to first base, I see. Never saw that sign, the little finger. That's a playground signal.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1-1 tie, bottom of the 7th. Jody Reed at first, held on by Manning. There's the wasted pitch over his head.
Okay, now if I'm Slot, and Hudson holds him on pretty good, he has been, I would look for Reed to go.
Jody Reed has stolen 1 base this year and has been caught 3 times. So he has certainly not been much of a threat. 1-2 to Gedman.
Breaking ball.
Bounced it, and it got away. And that had to be a wild pitch. The best Slot could do is get his body on it. And that was a bad pitch on a 1-2 count.
That's the 3rd wild pitch for Hudson, and I mean a tough time. That's about a 50-footer. It hits just past the grass. Look how, I mean, he really misses that thing. Slot, all he could do is what he did, get down on his knees. It goes off his chest protector, and Reed is able to pick up the base. Oh, 3rd wild pitch. Bad time. Now he's got to get the ground ball then. He's really got to give himself up.
He has not been a strikeout pitcher. His high this year, 5, and he has 2 today, so we'll see. 2-2 to Gedman. 1 out. Tiebreaker at second, Jody Reed. Got him. No. Fouled away. And he challenged him.
Yes, he did. Get the ball in a good spot, low and inside. Got to stay away from the strikeout, and you got to get the ball on the ground. Even though to make the 2nd out, you got to pick up a base.
And at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, Gedman's a low ball hitter. I got to keep the ball up on him.
Got to go with your strength against his strength.
2 balls, 2 strikes. One tie in the 7th. Got him.
Good piece of pitching by Hudson. Got the strikeout when he needed it.
So that's the 3rd strikeout for Charles Hudson. And now you can see Piniella throw from a stretch, and I think he said put him on.
Oh, yeah. Boggs not going to get a chance to knock in that run. It's going to be Barrett. He just swung under it. No way you're going to let Boggs beat you.
So in a moment, they'll be first and second with 2 outs.
In the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, as a catcher, what you're thinking is, who don't I want to come up there to beat me? And obviously, in this spot, on this ball club, would be Boggs because he put that ball in play.
Interesting, too, he does put the ball in play. And the wild pitch, which in one respect is a plus for the Red Sox, is also a minus because the wild pitch took the bat right out of Boggs' hand.
Except if Gedman gets the ground ball and he's over at third base, now you've got a whole different situation, and you wonder if Pinella puts him on. Is he going to put him on with a man on third base? So
look at those balloons that Charles Hudson is throwing. Some pitchers have a lot of trouble walking a man intentionally. Watch the way he's throwing this. Let's see if he does it again.
There are two plays that I think ought to be practiced more than not. That's one of them, and the other one is the pitch out. You put a pitch out down for some pitchers, and they'll rush the delivery. They'll throw it extra hard, throw it extra outside, and it's a play that's very rarely practiced.
All right, now here's the pressure on Charles Hudson. He has walked 4, he has hit 2, and he has had 3 wild pitches. That's when he was trying to throw strikes. Here in this inning, you've said to him, throw 4 purposefully wide, and now turn the faucet the other way and throw strikes. So
yes. If you were a big league manager, you'd have the only team that would never give up an intentional walk.
Oh, no. I just mean it adds so much spice to me on asking a pitcher who's fighting control to throw strikes after an intentional walk. So let's see about Barrett. Marty is hit into a force play, flied to center, and hit by a pitch. Strike.
That's why I think it's ridiculous when I hear people say, oh, if you're going to walk in attention, just say 4 balls and send the first base. No way. There's too many things can happen, too many things can change, like the point you made.
Right, great challenge.
I've seen guys try to steal home during an intentional walk.
0-1 the count to Marty Barrett with Reed at second, Boggs at first, 2 out in the 7th, and a 1-1 tie, and Charles Hudson on the griddle. And there's hit right at Aguayo. Line drive out. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left. And at the end of 7, a 1-1 tie.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Chevrolet announces more Americans going back to work. The new second shift at our Michigan truck plant. They're dedicated to building America's best-built truck, the full-size Chevy truck, an American success story.
Oh, the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
The ice caverns, where a beer was kept pure in the cold. A beer so rare, so smooth, the kegs had to be guarded by lions. That beer was Lowenbrau, German for the Lion's Brew. And today, that smooth, hearty taste is still carefully guarded under license and authority of Lowenbrau Munich, the Lion's Brew. Called for in America and around the world.
Who flies overnight letters for just $8.75? Watch the birdie. Express Mail Overnight Service from your post office. Who drops by to pick up your overnight packages every day? You know us well. Express Mail Overnight Service. When we say overnight, we mean overnight.
Still waiting for that part on your lawnmower engine? Next time, make it a Briggs & Stratton engine. And our 25,000 fully stocked parts and service centers all across America. Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
I stained this last year, and it's fading already. Why?
You didn't protect it with Thompson's Water Seal Solid Stain, the stain that contains Thompson's Water Seal. It protects color and wood better than the leading solid stain. Thompson's Water Seal Solid Stain, beauty that lasts at last.
We're going to the 8th inning of a 1-1 tie with Luis Aguayo, Rafael Santana, and Ricky Henderson. Aguayo struck out, hit by a pitch, and much to his chagrin, picked off first in the 5th inning. Hits one slowly to Jody Reed. One away. And Reed threw a sailor. Benzinger had to reach up to get it. 1 down. Don't forget, when this wonderful game is over, and it is a dandy 1-1 in the 8th inning, Starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, women's platform diving and boxing making their debut. NBC's coverage begins following the Major League Baseball game of the week from Seoul, the 24th Olympiad.
You see Bruce Hurst going to his mouth as we look at the Yankee bench, but Hurst does that a lot. And I tell you, I just have something to say about it.
There's a looper to left center. Coming in a hurry is Greenwald to make the diving catch.
That ball was dying, and he really hustled, and there's a case of when he was diving, he was still able to hold that ball, unlike what Slaught had happen to him at third base. Good play. And the ball is not hit hard. He's really got to go after it. Now watch, once he gets it, he protects it. Many times that elbow hits, and it jars loose, but you can see that he had that glove hit first. Talking about Hurst going to his mouth, behind the mound. Why is it that it's okay off the mound, and yet on the mound you can't? I mean, to me, either you can or you can't. Now, he's 3 feet back. It's okay. Now he walks to the mound, and here we go.
You're above suspicion on the grass. Here's Ricky Henderson.
It's like the back line of the batter's box, man. I think my crusade will be that. And
that's like the Buffalo. It's gone.
Yeah, it really is.
Henderson has flied to right and twice doubled to right. So Ricky has taken Hurst the other way each time. And he's 2 for 3.
You talk about this Yankee ball club when I say in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, who don't you want to come up and have beat you? You ask any of your friends, they'll say Mattingly or Winfield. Here's the guy I don't want to come up because he can do so much. The base on balls to him, he can turn it into a triple.
2-0 to Ricky Henderson. That's in there. And talking about him turning it into a triple, Henderson has stolen 84 bases coming into this game. And he's muttering to Al Clark. 2-1.
Clark has been calling that low strike. Ask Gary Ward. So he's been consistent with the strike zone.
Ball 3. So now, if you're Hurst, you're faced with that prospect. I can't walk this man or I turn a rabbit loose.
And he's got the power, obviously, to hit the ball over that screen because he's hit enough home runs. So he's something.
Time. Al Clark calling time just before Hurst was about to pitch.
I wonder if Henderson tipped Gedman's glove, because he's deep in the batter's box. He did last night as he takes his practice swing. He came back and flicked the glove. He got Cerrone last night.
3 balls, 1 strike. 2 out in the 8th, a 1-1 tie. And he walked him. That breaks a string. 8 in a row retired by Hurst. It took a diving catch by Greenwell to keep that alive. And for Bruce, that would be his second walk. 2 walks and a hit batter, and here's Willie Randolph.
Henderson has 19 stolen bases in 26 attempts against left-handers, and no one else on the Yankees more than 2 stolen bases against the lefties. But he's got a tough one because Hurst with that great move.
I was just going to say, this is one of the great battles inside the game. Yeah. You have a left-hander who has picked off 50, who has picked off 4 this year, and has picked off 1 in this game. And you have a premier base stealer in Henderson, so this is a great moment if you're a fan.
Henderson usually gets about 3.5 steps off the bag, and that was a pretty good move right there. While Henderson was wiping his eyes or his face, Hurst just flipped the ball over there. No big move, and if Henderson had just kind of stepped off, he's out. Real respect being shown by both.
Ricky had a stolen base yesterday to get his 84th. Oh, this is great. I love this. A pitcher with a wonderful move against a runner of the caliber of Henderson.
It's the game within it. Ricky's got a spot marked over there, and I've got it marked here, and he's been going back to it. Not there yet. Not there. Not there. He's shortened his lead. There's like a little dug-in spot that I can pick up from here that he's been going to it on every pitch except that one.
of course, tremendous determination, concentration, and discipline on Willie Randolph, the hitter.
You have to have a good hitter like him to be able to do what Henderson has to do.
Ball 1.
He has not been able to get to that spot, although he did in the first couple tosses over there. That time he kind of went farther, but on the first move broke back to the bag.
Good job, good job.
Ball 2, and you know Bruce is making pitches to the plate with one eye on Henderson. 2-0 the count. So this is now really the art of Major League pitching. Somehow he has to be able to concentrate on Randolph and at the same time hold Henderson on.
I tell you that Henderson will do that, Ben. Just what you said. He'll make you a one-eye pitcher.
And not to mention who's on deck, Don Mattingly. You know, there's more than the horns of a dilemma. We got 3 horns out there. Mattingly, Randolph, and Henderson. 2-0.
He's got the biggest lead he's had.
Right. 2-1 the count. Such a big game. If the Red Sox win it, they lead the Yankees by 5.5. If the Yankees win it, the Red Sox lead by 3.5. So it means 2, and we're 1-1 in the 8th. Another strike. Well, Randolph has gone as far as he can go.
Tell you, he has given Henderson as much as he can give him, and that's really unselfish hitting there. And Ricky's one of those guys, and obviously Pinellas says whenever you get the jump, go.
It's also a tribute for the moment to Bruce Hurst.
Yes, sir, because Henderson right now is talking to Jim Evans at first base. He obviously can't read him.
2-2. Curveball is hit to right center. Evans on the run. So the battle was won by Hurst as he gets Randolph. Henderson stays at first, and we're still tied 1-1.
Mark and Brian rocking L.A. It's another hot one out there. 98, 12 degrees and no relief in sight. It's hot, hot, hot.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one.
Man, it sure go for one of these.
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold.
Right.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
We have a slightly revised forecast. It's cold. Go.
Folks, please. Hey, we can't turn in a verdict while there's still a reasonable doubt.
Bob Swan has a dry shirt, but that doesn't mean he smells good. Because underarm odor is invisible, he needs new Sure Solid, our most effective wetness and odor formula yet. So, Bob, why come to court with a dry shirt and a false sense of security? Tomorrow, get the total protection of today's Sure.
You were right.
And be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.
Thanks.
Swing and a foul. And that's the ball game.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Well, it has turned out to be the toughest and most meaningful game we've seen this year. And in the background, the fans were chanting, "Yankees go home."
I tell you, so many things you can think about, and regardless of who wins this game, just think the Red Sox will think about that inning when they got 5 outs and couldn't score.
And, of course, the Yankees will be going home, and the Red Sox will be visiting Yankee Stadium next weekend, and we'll be there to send that one to you. But right now, we better figure out how this one's going to come out, because what a great story. Here's the veteran Tommy John, unable to pitch, rushed in to pitch after a terrible outing a few weeks ago, Charles Hudson.
And Hudson has given them a whole lot more than they had a right to expect, I'll tell you that.
So Charles Hudson going to work. Ricky Henderson spent a little bit of time chatting with the umpires, I'm sure, over Bruce Hurst's move. And now into the bottom of the 8th, 1-1. Dwight Evans followed by Mike Greenwell and Todd Benzinger in the bottom of the 8th. A 1-1 tie. Evans has lined to left, popped to second, and flied to right. They're going to check at first. No swing, says Jim Evans. 1 ball and no strikes. One run, 3 hits for the Yankees. 1 run, 2 hits for the Red Sox. And no strikes. So Charles Hudson, who has done a magnificent job substituting for Tommy John against Bruce Hurst, who has turned in his typical solid job. Remember, Bruce is 12-1 at Fenway this year. That's gone. Left field at the wall and in the net. Dwight Evans not only getting his 100th RBI of the year for the 3rd time in his career, but he does it here at Fenway, where 7 of his last 11 home runs have either tied the score or put the Red Sox ahead, and he's asked to take a curtain call. The crowd wants him to come out. Ball 1 to Greenwell.
He fell behind him, and Evans, I tell you, here comes Clyde King out to talk to Hudson. You hear the expression work ethic so much these days. I don't know of anybody who has a better outlook on work ethic than Dwight Evans. I mean, he is just a thorough professional. He comes out here, and infield practice is serious, batting practice is serious, and it pays off.
Big moment for Dwight Evans, and it figured that he would have it here. Evans with 16 home runs, and he certainly has the flair for the dramatic home run. He leads the Sox. That's the 8th one he's hit over the Green Monster, but he didn't need a monster. That was a line drive. That was gone the moment he made contact.
The only thing that could concern you was it high enough, because it was hard enough.
1 ball and no strikes. With Dwight Evans putting the Sox in front 2-1. Fly ball into left center. Ward on the run. Picks it off. 1 down. Now the heat will be on the Yankees, and if you're not keeping score, they have the fellas who thrive on the heat, because due up in the 9th inning for New York, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, and Jack Clark. And standing in their way, Bruce Hurst, who has been magnificent. 2-1 Boston in the 8th. Ball 1.
So true when you talk about this ballpark. When you walk in the batter's box, you're in scoring position.
And for Evans, he fulfills a role that he has played so well for so long. That's hit to left field, carrying down the line in the corner. It is off the wall. Henderson playing to Karam. Benzinger with a double.
And Vin, as I look out at that bullpen, Lee Smith is already up throwing. Hurst has had only 5 complete games in 29 starts, and Joe Morgan, he's got his big guy getting ready.
Meanwhile, Lou Piniella had Dave Righetti throwing. at the start of the 8th inning. But he didn't have a chance before he had even the slightest thought about Hudson. The home run was hit. Ellis Burks has grounded to third, grounded to first, and hit back to the box on a check swing. So Ellis 0 for 3. Now Hippolito Pena begins to throw. Righetti sits down, and Dale Mahorsic is up. And Don Claude going out to the mound.
Nothing else. He's reminding him about Benzinger on at second base because Santana is playing way over, and Randolph is the only one who can really dog Benzinger, and he had a pretty good-sized lead.
There's Mahorsic, the big right-hander, and now Pena, the left-hander. 2-1 Boston, bottom of the 8th inning. One ball, no strike. All the pressure on the Yankees as Righetti sits back and watches. Strike. One ball, one strike. One and one to Ellis. Larry Parrish on deck. Ball 2. And quite a game for Charles Hudson. 3 wild pitches, 4 walks, 1 hit batter. Piniella certainly has to be pleased with the gutsy performance Hudson has turned in. But not with the score and not with what's happening here in the 8th inning. That pretty much tells it. You'd have to put an asterisk to note that the game is being played under protest. A protest we feel sure Piniella will lose. Chopper up along third, foul, and the count 3-2.
Hudson showed you something right there. He was behind Burks 3-1 and came in with an off-speed curveball. Almost feel if he had thrown that fastball, you would have seen another one in that screen.
So a full count to Ellis Burks. Fouled away.
Hudson grabbed his leg as he made that pitch, and I see him stretching out there now, the back of his right leg.
Piniella comes up on the steps to just stare out at him, along with Clyde King and Gene Michael. And Hudson is not ready, and he is limping a little bit, and Piniella now is coming out. And he'll talk to Al Clark.
As he made the delivery, he grabbed the back of his leg and then kind of walked around there.
Take a look at that last pitch and see if he grabs that leg.
Watch him right there. Right there.
Yep.
See him grab it?
He did a full turn in his follow-through. 2-1 Red Sox. 1 out in the 8th. A runner at second. Don't forget the Olympics, the 24th Olympiad, coming up next. Women's platform diving and boxing as NBC's coverage begins. That's today following the Major League Baseball game of the week. Dale Mahorsic will be brought in from the bullpen, and under the rules, he's replacing an injured pitcher so he can take his time getting ready.
Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Bayou country. Places like this make you glad you take your car to Mr. Goodwrench, the GM service specialist. Mr. Goodwrench uses genuine General Motors parts, the kind your car was designed to use. Because Mr. Goodrich knows in places like this, the last thing you need to worry about is your car. Mr. Goodrich, no one knows your GM car better. No one.
Performance. For some, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. For them, there's Speed Stick antiperspirant. Nothing's wider. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing gives you all-day protection in a bigger way. If you give 110%, your antiperspirant should too. Speed Stick, the wide stick.
Lots of men have sensitive skin irritated by shaving. Aftershave skin conditioner is clinically proven relief. Sensible care for sensitive skin. After.
There are headaches
And the car payment is overdue.
and headaches. There's aspirin and aspirin. Anacin. Clinical tests show that Anacin relieves headaches better than regular aspirin.
Feeling better, hun?
Not just better, better.
Anacin, better relief. If you think you might need some new hand tools, think about this. Sears Craftsman hand tools are built so tough, we guarantee them forever. And we mean forever.
The tradition is here. The memories are waiting. The Red Sox reached the 1986 World Series on a wing and a prayer, rallying from a 3-1 deficit in the championship series to capture the pennant. Next Saturday, the Red Sox face the Yankees. The game of the week, only on NBC.
Dale Mohorsic with a 3-7 record, inheriting a 3-2 count to Ellis Burks with 1 out, fouled away. Now, if Burks should walk, the walk would belong to the departed Hudson. The runner at second base belongs to Hudson. We bring that up because Mohorsic pitched briefly yesterday. He gave up a hit that allowed 2 of his inherited runners from scoring, although he wasn't charged with it. So 3-2 to Ellis Burks. Got him. Coming a little bit sidearm.
And with the breaking ball, both pitches were curveballs. You would think that coming in a spot like this, 3 balls, 2 strikes on the hitter, and he'd go to his fastball, but that's the difference between the good pitcher and the guy who's just mediocre. He threw the breaking ball and got a tough hitter.
Mohorsic started off the year 2-0, and then he really had a bumpy ride. He lost 7 consecutive decisions before he finally picked up a victory August 9th. Now with 2 down, here's Parrish. Big sweeper, 0-1. Parrish has struck out twice and flied to right. Larry 0 for 3. Benzinger at second, 2 out, a run over. 2-1 Boston in the 8th. And to repeat, Mattingly, Winfield, and Clark due up in the 9th. And that's hit to left center field. Going back is Gary Ward. It's going to be off the wall. Benzinger scores on a double by Parrish. 3-1 Boston.
1 too many curveballs to Larry Parrish. They've been laying that ball on that outside corner. He was having trouble reaching it. He missed the first one, came back with this one, and he was waiting for it, and he really hits it hard. Now, watch where it is. It's the one he's been missing. Curveball, but he gets this one, and now we got a pinch runner then.
So the runner will take over as Larry Parrish comes out. Randy Kutcher will be the runner. As Parrish, the long double to drive in Benzinger to make it 3-1 Boston with 2 out in the 8th. So Kutcher at second, and Jody Reed trying to pick him up. He's flied to right, double to left, and singled off Charles Hudson's glove. That's a strike. 0-1. So Reed is 2 for 3. Scored the run in the 5th inning on Boggs' scoring fly ball that put the Sox out in front for the moment. Red Sox trying to beat the Yankees 6 out of 9 times this year and 4 out of 6 at Fenway. And Joe Morgan, who has won 9 of the 10 home series since he took over as manager, losing only to Seattle, and that's enough to put your hands over your face. The only blot on his escutcheon, but for Lou Piniella, a protest. And 3 big hitters in the 9th. Another strike, another curve.
Three big hitters in the ninth. Evans has so far the game-winning RBI if it ends like this, but the one that changed the strategy was the double by Parrish. That's the one that really changes the strategy for Piniella.
1-2. There's the fastball in the dirt. Nice save by Slaught. 2-2. So the Sox have had only 5 hits. They've had 3 doubles and a home run. The Yankees have only 3 hits. 2 of them doubles. Three and 2 the count to Jody Reed. Rich Gedman on deck.
Jody didn't make that 100% effort to get out of the way. Take a look at it, almost like he wanted it to turn and hit him and get on base for Gedman.
High foul ball down the left field line. Back in the seats. Breeze continues to blow from right to left, although it has not been a factor today. Red Sox trying to make it 7 out of 9 on this homestand. And I can hear Sparky Anderson saying it now. If they have a big homestand where they win 8 out of 10, we're all in trouble. Hit him with a big roundhouse pitch.
He was going to sidearm him and obviously didn't get it in enough.
That is the second Red Sox to be hit by a pitch.
I don't know why you would even try that pitch in that spot. You got him where you really want him, where you just have to throw the ball in the strike zone. You don't have to really make him look bad.
And that's all. With Gedman coming up, they're going to go to the bullpen and Hippolito Pena, the left-hander. 3-1 Red Sox, still hitting in the 8th.
Okay, so you love your car. Whoa. You're not going inside yet. The tires, the 4 round things underneath. There you go. Now, see that Armor All protectant? Wipe some of that stuff on the tires and bumpers. Okay, now get in the car and do the dash and the seats. You can do this. This is not rocket science. Now, look at your car. Now go in the house and tell them how hard you worked. Go ahead. They don't know about Armor All. They'll buy it.
In keeping with the special spirit of the U.S. Olympic team, Buick presents 3 special Regal Olympic coupes. 3 distinctive personalities, from sporty to luxury. There's nothing more regal on the great American road. Red, white, and Buick. Now at your Buick dealer for a limited time.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filter one.
Genuine draft anymore?
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
Sunday, the NFL plays here. The league's top-rated passer looks to lower the boom in Steeltown as the Bengals take on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Or Tony Dorsett leads the Broncos Stampede into Arrowhead Stadium as they battle the Kansas City Chiefs.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
The left-hander, Hippolito Pena, who appeared in the Yankee victory in Game 1 of this series. He has a 1-1 record, been in only 8 games. Picking up for Dale Mahorsic. It's been a tough 2 games for Mahorsic. He's allowed 2 hits and 3 inherited runners to score. 2 last night and then 1 today. Plus, going 3-2 and trying to come around the corner with a sidearm pitch to hit Jody Reed, and that was that.
You know, as you watch that, he stepped towards third base, and usually it's sidearm, but he threw from over the top. Like he just wasn't in sync. Like maybe he changed his mind as he stepped towards third.
Well, that's an old Doyle Alexander move, twisting your upper torso and then coming the other way. But Pena working on Gedman. 1 ball and no strike. Rich Gedman is grounded out, sacrificed, struck out.
Little difference between Mahorsic and Alexander.
Oh, yeah. 1 ball, no strike. in there. 1-1. The big blow of the game here in the 8th inning. Dwight Evans led off with a line drive home run. We'd like to welcome those viewers in New York who have been watching Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, the Red Sox and the Mets, and you come at a rather important time. It was 1-1 going into this bottom of the 8th. Evans homered, Benzinger doubled, Parrish doubled in Benzinger, and the Red Sox lead 3-1 here in the 8th inning. Hippolito Pena is the third Yankee pitcher. Charles Hudson went 7 1/3. Dale Mahorsic went a third, and now Pena. And one other note, when the Yankees bat in the 9th, Piniella will send up Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, and Jack Clark. So pull up a chair and spend part of it with us anyway. Fastball and a chopper to Randolph, who retreats to the grass, throws him out. But the damage is done on a home run and 2 doubles, 2 runs, 3 hits. But it was a home run by Dwight Evans that has given the Sox the big one. 7 of his last 11 have either tied or put the Sox ahead. Mattingly, Winfield, and Clark trying to answer back.
AT&T has just made Watts a whole new ballgame for any size business. Pick from a lineup of plans that give you call detail, distance-sensitive pricing, and major league discounts, even on international and AT&T card calls. If you thought AT&T Watts had just one pitch, now it's a whole new ballgame.
How will you live in the next century? Suddenly, life will be more comfortable, smoother, and quicker. Introducing the new 1989 Buick Century, with premium features you expect from the best-selling Buick on the American road. All at a price that will let you enter the next century very comfortably.
The great American road belongs to Buick.
Read any good beer bottles lately? This one tells you that Miller Genuine Draft is the one beer that's cold filtered, not heat pasteurized. So we haven't changed the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. And you know what's the best thing about reading this bottle? It leads to a very happy ending.
Come home to the best and discover how the world's best are doing in Seoul. Following baseball, the Olympic Games, only on NBC.
Spike Owen, who has started only 3 games since August 20th, now comes in to play shortstop in the 9th inning for Jody Reed. Reed was hit by a pitch. I don't know whether that was the reason for the move or not. Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, and Jack Clark against a magnificent Bruce Hurst. Mattingly has grounded out twice and had an infield single up the middle. Hurst has allowed 1 run and 3 hits. Hurst trying to win his 18th and trying to win his 13th at Fenway Park this year. Ball 1. His numbers show you just how effective he's been. 8 strikeouts. That's in there. 1-1. Foul back out of play, and the count 1-2. Don't forget, immediately following the outcome of the ball game, the 24th Olympiad, women's platform diving and boxing will open up NBC's coverage. 1-2. Red Sox trying to increase their lead to 5.5. The Yankees trying to cut it to 3.5. 2-2.
He hasn't thrown many of those dead fish, as they call them. He's had a good fastball and a big breaking curveball. He has changed speeds with that, but he's been around that plate all day long.
Foul back. To show you what it means to Bruce Hurst, the last Sox left-hander to win more than 17, and he's trying to win his 18th today. You have to go back to Mickey McDermott 25, make it 35 years ago, 1953. Mickey won 18. Fast one, and he just got a piece of it. Still 2-2. On deck, representing the tying run for the moment, Dave Winfield. 3-1 Boston, 9th inning. Just did get a piece of that to foul it away. The old story of the good hitter can foul off the pitch that usually gets the other hitter.
Oh, he was really fighting that one off. That's all he wanted to do was just spoil it and stay alive. And the battle here is the good pitcher against the good hitter, because Hurst doesn't want to go deep 3-2. He wants to get him right here, a pitch of decision. Mattingly fooled on the pitch, but he got that bat out there and he stays alive.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball. He was a little late, but he still got a piece of it. Bruce Hurst.
Not much more than Hurst can throw him. He has shown him everything.
The only run he allowed, Ricky Henderson doubled in the 6th inning. Randolph sacrificed into 3rd, and Henderson scored as Mattingly grounded out, and that's it. Fastball and a high fly ball into right center. Back goes Evans and Burks. It's Burks. One away in the 9th inning. Dave Winfield and Jack Clark coming up. We'd like to remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ball game. Winfield has grounded to short, struck out, grounded to first. 0 for 3.
Ben, we keep talking about that game within the game. We saw Hurst win that battle with Henderson. We saw it win it here with Mattingly. Mattingly hit that ball hard, but again, he would not go to 3-2 and risk that base on balls. You can see Mattingly thought he had a pitch he can handle, but one big out for Hurst.
And the Yankees haven't had a hit since the 6th inning when Henderson doubled. The closest would be that fly ball that Santana hit in the 8th when Mike Greenwell made the diving catch. The Yankees running out of time. They're 2 outs away from trailing the Red Sox by 5.5. 1-1. Chopper to the left of Spike Owen, who gets his feet wet. 2 down in the 9th inning. And standing in the way of Bruce Hurst's 18th is Jack Clark. The game has been brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick. By Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one. By Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy. And by Armor All Protectant. It protects and beautifies every time you wash your car. So Jack Clark walked, struck out, grounded out. Strike. And this crowd is on its feet now. They're 1 out away from a 5.5 game lead. Another strike.
And he picked up his pace.
35,051, all up and at him. No balls and 2 strikes to Jack Clark. Gary Ward on deck. 1-2.
Clark is a fastball hitter, and Hurst, the first 2 pitches, fastballs, and then the curveball. He can go any way he wants. He's really in command.
Ward waiting on deck. Fastball fouled away. That's what all that off-speed pitch has done. It slowed Mattingly down, and he was a tad late on a fastball, then didn't quite time one and flied to right center. Now with Clark after starting him off with splitters, the count 0-2. Then he missed once, and now it's 1-2. Fastball got him swinging. 9 strikeouts for Bruce Hurst, who won his 18th. He is 13-1 at Fenway Park. We'll be back at Fenway, the home of the leading Red Sox, who lead by 5.5 after this.
The new Buick Riviera. It's a classic all over again.
The road has been waiting, you're anticipating the spirit you felt way back when. Riviera is back, a classic again. The legend once more, what the road's waiting for. Riviera, a classic returns. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick. We go above and beyond just like you. Above and beyond what we have to do, caring for what's special to you.
I'm a Prudential representative, and what's really important to me when I go into someone's home is to help them save money on their homeowner's insurance. Because I know I'm a homeowner too.
Taking care to protect what's important to you. The Rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
No, Pringle.
Got the fever, got the fever. No, Pringle. Got the fever, got the fever. Got the fever, Pringle. We've got the fever for the flavor of a Pringle.
This is a brand new $18,000 car. Put in a leading motor oil. This is an identical new car. Put in Mobil 1. Start them up and drive. Under extreme conditions, temperatures inside your engine can reach 570 degrees. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more, but then under extreme conditions, look at what can happen to conventional motor oil. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Bruce Hurst strikes out Jack Clark for his 9th strikeout. He allowed just 1 hit in the last 5 innings, as his record now is 18-5, 3-0 against the Yankees, 13-1 at Fenway. We'll be right back.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
You gotta stop and taste the high life. Stop and taste the high life. Spend some time just finding out you're working for what it's all about.
Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy.
Stop and taste the high life.
Miller High Life.
Downtown. 2:30 a.m. Empty city. Empty streets. At times like this, you really appreciate how good Mr. Goodwrench is. He has the high-tech electronic equipment to analyze and adjust your high-tech General Motors car so you can drive with confidence anytime, anywhere. Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
This week's NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game is Bruce Hurst. Miller Lite happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Bruce Hurst to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Next Saturday, a return match at Yankee Stadium. It'll be the Red Sox visiting the Yankees. Some of you will see the Oakland A's and the Milwaukee Brewers. Remember, the 24th Olympiad coming up in moments with women's platform diming and boxing. So that's the story from